Welcome to Love to See It, a podcast about vibes based IQ and EQ tests.
And men who are committed to monogamy in exactly this moment.
Yeah, and yesterday too. We're up to episodes 13 to 15 of Married at First Sight season 20. All the couples are pretty much falling apart in exactly the ways you would expect. Before we get into all of that, a little housekeeping. If you've missed our earlier coverage of Married at First Sight and Let's Marry Harry, just scroll back in the feed. We had a really fun time for our bonus episode last week talking about Harry Jousey's marriage attempt.
Is he married? We don't know.
Waiting on that
But that
reunion
was a really fun episode. So yeah,
for
check it out.
sure. And Rich Text, of course, is now on Patreon. For our latest episode, I talked to my wonderful friend, the novelist and screenwriter Laura Hankin, about her new movie, Don't Say Good Luck, starring Sunny Sandler, which is streaming on Netflix now. And it's really good. And we had a lovely, very emotional conversation about the movie and about grief and motherhood and all the fun things. So you can find that at patreon.com/richtext. So let's dive into episode 13.
Every time I'm always like, what happened? What
I
are we? Because so much goes down in these 3 episode chunks. I can't keep track of what couple's good, what
I
who's
know.
bad this week.
I had forgotten about Courtney and Nick by the
Mm,
end. As I recall that we predicted, and I'm sure we were not the only ones who assumed that it would be Caitlin and Devin who split up,
mhm.
but Courtney and Nick had both put in as much effort as they felt they could possibly put in.
And my heart rate immediately went down. So I
Yeah.
thank them for that decision.
I think that Caitlin is like, "This is a marathon, not a sprint. I'm gonna dose out my effort in the tiniest little morsels so I can make it to the end." Courtney was like, "I ran hard. I'm done."
Yeah, I'm out of it. Too much coffee. Too much.
Oh my god. So, before we get to Courtney and Nick, we do see a little scene from Marissa having her friends over. She's finally allowed to do something for her own enjoyment. And she has her girlfriends over for wine and confides in them about how obsessed Adam is with pickleball and how much he expects her to participate. And her friends are like, "Well, at least you're standing up for your own needs. You've never did that in the past." This is Marissa standing up for her needs.
Yeah, I'm like, "Wait, guys, she needs a little more guidance. She's not yet there, but
She-
she's trying."
She's talking about standing up for her needs, maybe in the future. Adam returns from the gym and they grill him about the famous bad day that was his good day. And he again says, "I get that she's the normal one, and I'm just at a crazy level." He's
That's
always humble bragging. He's like, "I guess I'm just different. I just really like to challenge myself to just such an intense degree that most normal people
yeah. He's
can't
like
understand."
a little stroll on the treadmill is not gonna do it for me. I need high
Yeah.
intensity pickleball
Yeah.
sessions 7 days a week.
He's like, "I'll admit it. I just am an incredibly high achiever."
As he's,
That's
like, leaning back in his chair just
in his gym tank top. They ask for 3 things he likes about Marissa, and he says her sense of humor, being supportive, and that's it. That's the end of the list. They're doomed.
yeah, it's real bad.
So let's talk about Courtney and Nick. The next time we see them, they're getting back from dinner, I think. It seems like evening. They're winding down. And she mentions that she got coffee at the restaurant, and she's like, "It has me off the roof."
Yeah, I could tell because she was speaking, like, 5,000 miles a minute.
I know. She's practically vibrating. Courtney, at her most tired, does not need coffee. Like, she always has the energy of a little wind-up toy that just finished getting wound up.
Yes.
Add coffee to that, and I'm genuinely concerned
It's
that
the
she's
ones
gonna
that,
crack a
like, yeah,
tooth.
hop now. The feet are
Yeah,
hopping, the wind-up
exactly.
toys, like
She says she's worried that she's shut down the goofy bantering vibe with Nick, and that's not what she wants. And Nick says, "Well, yeah, when I brought that goofy vibe, it wasn't well received." And then they roll footage production of Let's Boogie Gate when
Yeah, so
he said,
goofy.
but like she does immediately shut it down. He's
Yeah.
like, "Let's boogie," and she's like, "Don't say that.
Yeah.
That gives me the ick."
Also, like, the goofy vibes never existed, Courtney. You've always wanted it to exist,
Yeah.
but it's never really been a thing. I mean, from the honeymoon when they were like, "Let's push me in the pool, let's be goofy."
Yeah.
I don't think it ever went anywhere from there.
I think that's why she likes Adam so much is that they both bring this sort of like, I'm very dull and dry and don't have a developed personality. So what if I had a thing? Like what if I came up with an idea to seem
Mm,
interesting, like a kimono based outfit or jumping in the pool?
yeah.
Um but I will say that Courtney does laugh a lot around other people and she whatever Nick says just looks at him like he's an insect.
Which he brings up. He's like, "I
Right.
see that you're, like, personable and fun and goofy and funny when you're with everyone else but me. As soon as I'm in the equation, all of that stuff goes out the window." And he's right.
Right. And
He's
he brings up
absolutely
Adam
right.
at pickleball. He says, with Adam at pickleball, I could see he could even tell that Courtney was kind of flirting with Adam at pickleball. And she asks what he needs from her. And Nick says, maybe when I make a mistake, just roll with it instead of giving me a hard time about not being able to fix the espresso machine for a week. And she says, well, that's the banter. That's how I'm bantering with you. And he says, well, it just really feels like you mean it and you're not joking.
She is mean to him, so
She is.
mean, and she holds everything against him. It could be the littlest thing, you know?
Yeah.
But he doesn't do that to her.
No. And you have to wonder, like, what she expects him to say in these conversations. She keeps being like, "You should feel comfortable telling me how you're feeling. What do you need from me?" And then when he tells her, she gets really mad and critical
Super
immediately.
heated. Like, she can't take criticism, but she can dish it
Yeah.
out. There are some things that she said to him that I'm like, I would be like weeping. I would be
Well,
like,
that's
it's attacking his character every chance she gets. But the minute he
yeah.
says something like, you can be a little hard on me. She's like, what do you mean? What do you mean I can be hard on you?
And what's interesting to me is that she frames this actually as her being the vulnerable one who's
Mm,
trying because she is being so vulnerable about all the things that she hates about him. And she's working so hard on making him better.
yeah.
And so even when she is actively beating him down emotionally, she's like, why isn't he stepping up the way I am in this moment to
I'm
make
being
this
so
relationship
vulnerable
better
right now by just
by
ripping him
insulting him?
apart.
He says that he flirts with her, but she doesn't give him compliments back, and he wants that. And now she's really starting to get pissed. She's like, I call you sexy and hunky all the time. And he says, well, only in group settings. And she says, no, all the time I'm calling you hunky. I'm working so hard to touch you more.
The word hunky, that's my ick. Like, she doesn't like boogie. She's
I
like, "You're
know.
so hunky. I call you hunky every chance I get. If you called me hunky, I'd be like, that's not the compliment I'm looking for."
I know. It's like there's something weirdly like almost 80s coded about Courtney. I'm
Mm.
like, I feel like you were transported here from a past era that in these moments where she says something like this, I'm like, "Why do you think hunky is what your
Yeah, why
partner wants to be
ferociously
called?"
curling her hair? It's like,
In 2026, hunky is the compliment of choice. And I think that it's accurate though, because she's saying, "I look at you and I see a man who represents hunkiness.
mhm.
Like you're a hunk." She's not saying that there's nothing like specific or interpersonal about that compliment. It's not like
No.
saying he's sexy. Sexy, which she says she calls him sexy, but it really seems like hunky is the way she
Yeah.
prefers to think of him. It's distancing. Sexy or hot, there can be a sort of vibe about your chemistry there. Hunky is devoid of that.
Yeah,
It's
she's
about
just
looking at a
like,
pinup.
yeah, she's like, "You're Zack Slater." Like, "You're a hunk. You're a
Yeah,
hunk."
exactly.
Like, aesthetically, people would assume that you're a hunk. Me, I see it,
I
sure,
can
but
see that you're a hunk objectively. Also, I'm working so hard to touch you more is crazy.
yeah, it's like, well, that's the telltale sign that
Yeah.
this just maybe should end right now. If you guys don't wanna actually ever be near each other.
Right. There's no coming back from
No.
that one. Courtney says she wants him to feel like he can be entirely himself with her, and he says it just takes time. Courtney snaps, "We're married. There's no reason not to be comfortable, and I feel like I've been pretty fucking comfortable with everything I've told you." And he says, "You don't even know me." And she says, "Why don't I know you? I've been trying to know you."
Have you been though? No.
She's been yelling at
You've
him.
just been screaming at him like, "Let me know who you are," but you don't let him ever get a word in or
Right.
say anything without just contradicting him or slamming him down or just telling him he's just, like, the worst person in the world.
Right. She's like, "Reveal yourself to me."
Yeah. You're just a hunk in a veiled cloth, like, I can't see through you.
She really sees him like he's a cardboard cutout of a person. And I think that she is one of the only women that we see doing what a lot of the men are doing, which is we're married. No matter how I behave, you should feel completely comfortable with me because that's what marriage means.
Mhm.
Marriage is a shortcut to you completely revealing yourself to me and being completely comfortable. I shouldn't have to create a safe space or be receptive or be
No,
kind and
we're
supportive or
married, like,
patient.
this is, like, Shawn's motto.
Yeah. Guess what, Courtney? If you're married and your partner treats you like this, you probably will not feel completely comfortable
I
in
know I
that
wouldn't feel
marriage.
comfortable if I was anywhere in the vicinity of Courtney. I'd be scared, to be honest.
Yeah. A lot of times you'll see people act like this in conflict, but when they approach the conversation intentionally, trying to work through it, it will go a little better. She started this trying to be receptive and immediately
Yes,
pivoted.
immediately. She's like, "I'm open, tell me your thoughts," and then,
Not like that.
"Nope, I don't like it."
Nick is pretty fed up. He tells the camera she can be very disrespectful and project stuff from her past onto him. And also, he says, I think I am being my genuine self, and she just doesn't vibe with it.
Yeah,
I
I
think
could agree.
that's,
I think that's
I just
he's
don't think
just
there's
not the
any more
guy.
there.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not the guy for her.
Cam tells Michelle in their apartment that he's worried that the stress of coaching basketball will affect their relationship and that they will lose passion. He's never been in a long term relationship and he knows it won't always be like this. And this makes Michelle anxious that he's doubting their relationship, but she tries to reassure him that commitment is a choice and expecting perfection is what will set them up for failure.
Now, what do we think about the this little, like, couple problem? I am concerned that Cam's never had a long-term relationship, but I
Hmm.
also think the show is just trying to find any little thing to be like, "Look, Cam and Michelle might not end up together. They do have problems."
Yeah, they've had pretty minimal plot because everything is going really smoothly. They've been showing more and more of them just talking about other couples.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it is already a bit of an orange flag that he's almost 40 and has never had a relationship long enough to really work through some of those commitment issues. So that he's raising the alarm now would definitely have me concerned.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, is this why his relationships haven't worked out? Is he actually someone who doesn't have the skills or the commitment or desire to really stick with a relationship once it's not the fun first month
Yeah,
or two?
passionate.
Yeah, we'll see. Caitlin and Devin go out for dinner and they're trying to recover from a pretty rough end to last week when he kind of went off on her at the group dinner. So they just chat about their favorite topics. She says hers are Harry Potter, Taylor Swift, and World War II,
That
which
threw
is a
me. That threw me, the World War II bit, but
it feels a little bit Republican coded in this moment to
yeah.
offer this particular list.
Also, just, like, these, big milestones, just World War II, pop
Yeah,
culture icon Taylor Swift, and number 1 book, Harry
it's
Potter.
the most popular book, musical artist, and historical event
War.
for white Americans to be interested in.
Yeah.
She's just averaging out, but she threw in a dad interest there. I
Mhm.
think being obsessed with World War II is stereotypically more of a middle-aged dad interest. So,
I have watched a World War II doc or 2 with my dad just for, a little bonding session.
yeah, I used to always find Greg watching, like, Newsmax documentaries late at night that are like, "Horrors of Hitler's, like, secret lair," or whatever, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
They're like, "It lulls me to sleep."
Yeah, he's like, "I've watched pretty much all of the good documentaries about World War II, so now so now I'm just gonna watch this."
I know Will's been watching the latest one with I think Tom Hanks narrates it. I haven't been on board,
Um,
but
that's
I've
their
heard it
thing.
from the comfort of my bed while I'm watching Married at First Sight.
Um, Devin's interest is rugby. He can talk about that for hours. So nice. They're bonding. They don't seem to have anything in common, but that's okay. Devin says that he really wants to kind of get on the same page now that they've had a chance to calm down from that big group dinner. And he tells her he wasn't trying to put her on blast in front of everyone. He had these feelings that had been festering. And I guess they weren't seeing much of each other because her hobby is job and he's in the off season. So they're just not in the same place very much. So his feelings needed an outlet. Caitlin is still very bothered that he brought it up that way, and she says that it was unnecessary for it to happen in this sort of high conflict and public way, basically. She's like, "We could have just, like, had a 15-minute conversation about it privately."
She's right, but
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, next time I'll call or text to let you know."
since we don't ever see each other,
Right,
I'll
I'll
shoot you
just
a text like, "I might attack you tonight at the group dinner."
yeah, "Hey, by the way, I've been feeling really dissatisfied in our relationship." And they discuss spending time together at the end of the night. She sometimes has to go to bed at 8:30. No
Yeah,
wonder she's getting up and leaving before he's awake. That's so
she's
early.
had way too much sleep by
She's waking up at 4:30 and she's like, "I gotta get out of
and
here."
this is without kids. I mean, sometimes I fall asleep after putting my kids to bed, but they don't even go to bed that early anymore.
I know. She's got clearly a very packed schedule of
Mhm.
commitments outside the apartment. But they negotiate the possibility of some couch cuddling at the end of the day. Belléjolie and Mecca have a really, dark conversation about what they both went through in their childhoods. They're sitting outside on their balcony with some hot cocoa, and they just share a little bit about what they went through as kids, and I think this was really shocking, like, what they both describe, and I really got the sense that Mecca does not was left with not a good understanding of, like, how children should be raised, that, like, nothing seems to phase him that should.
No. Yes, and I don't know if he was, like, left alone a lot, like, I know that he brings up his siblings who he was
Mhm.
jealous of, which really broke my heart, but yeah, I don't know if he had a solid childhood. Like, it's clear that
Yeah.
he struggled a bit. I think his dad maybe was working a lot, maybe he was alone a lot, getting into trouble, and then it seemed like he got in trouble a lot with his dad.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the details. I think so his biological mom left. It seems like then Logic married someone else. He had a stepmom. They had kids, so he has siblings from his dad and his stepmom. Then his stepmom left his dad and his siblings got to go live with her. And so he
Mhm.
said that he's jealous. He was jealous of them because they got smartphones, they got to hang out with friends. They just had like it seems like a life with a lot more allowances and privileges than he had. And then he says that his dad probably knew that there was this jealousy that he had, that there was this difference between their lives, but his dad would say that he didn't care because, quote, I was going to raise you how I wanted to raise you.
Hmm.
So he definitely had the sense that his dad saw him as sort of under his control, his project to raise, and he didn't really care how that affected Mecca's emotional world.
No. He's like, "You're my kid. This is my house, my rules."
Yeah, very authoritarian style. Then he says that he couldn't have the trust that his siblings had to spend lots of time with their friends, have a smartphone, etc., because of his behavior, and he was acting up more than they were. And Belle tries to push back on this and is like, every kid acts up. And he's like, no, for me, it was worse. As you said, like, it does seem like that could very much be a result of not getting the kind of parenting that he needed, of
Mhm.
needing more attention, but also of not having his misbehavior handled well. Like, that can also foster more misbehavior, ironically. Like, it really
Yes.
sounds like he was probably acting out in part because he was being parented very poorly.
Yes, and then going from, like, a family unit where he
Mhm.
had siblings, he had a mom and a dad in the house, and then it's torn away from him at a young age, that has to mess with you as well, because you go from being, a part of a group of kids in your house, and then the other kids are pulled away from you, and you have to figure out, like, "What's life like for me now?" And then you have
Mhm.
to watch those siblings have a totally different experience being raised.
Yeah, and he's talked about seeing his friends, and I'm sure with his stepmom too, seeing other kids being given the kind of care and a more maybe loving and gentle approach to parenting than he was getting. And he has very much rationalized that he didn't deserve that kind of parenting,
Mhm.
as he has said in the past. Then he says, very casually, I would pee on myself during some of the whoopings if I knew they were coming. And he says he wet the bed until 13. So, like, very casually, he mentions that he was being, like, physically disciplined and
Mhm.
sounds like beaten. Wetting the bed until into your teenage years can definitely be a sign that
Of
there might be
trauma.
a
Yeah.
trauma issues going on in the home. Like, this all sounds like, yikes, like, a lot more needs to be dug into there with a
Yes.
professional.
And he just drops it,
Yeah.
like, so easily to her, but when I was watching it, was, like, heartbroken for him because like, that is, like, a number 1 sign of, like, fear. Um, he was scared he was into his teen years.
Yeah.
I don't know, and we already know Logic is, like, a tough guy just from the wedding scene, like, we haven't even seen him since then, but we saw their
Mhm.
dynamic, and this kind of explained a lot more to me, but in, like, a
Yeah.
very scary way.
Right, like, all of the way that Mecca kind of mirrors his dad, it starts to seem a little bit like fawning
Hmm.
almost, like, he has clearly had an experience of his dad being very authoritarian and controlling and belittling at the way that he describes it here, like, I'm really alarmed, and the fact that he's internalized that that was merited by his behavior and that that was all sort of internal to him, like, he's always trying to change and show that he deserves kindness and that he deserves approval so that he can feel safe. Um, I think that he probably has a lot to work on, like, in therapy or a setting like that before he's ready for a marriage because he doesn't know how he should be treated, and he therefore doesn't even know how to treat other people. Like,
Yes.
I don't think that you always need to be completely healed to be in a relationship or a marriage, but he still seems like so to not have moved through any of that and to not know how people should relate to each other.
Yeah, and then even to, like, even think about becoming a dad yourself and raising
Yeah.
kids when you've had such a like, a dark childhood, stuff that I didn't even know was happening with Mecca until the scene. Yeah,
Yeah.
it made me sad.
Then Belle talks about her
Oh,
childhood. She
yeah.
says that as a kid, her family was beyond poor. Sometimes they had no lights, no water, had to bathe in buckets. Her whole family lived in one room. She's had toothpaste for a meal, but they had a lot of love and they really like cared for each other. And also was struck that Mecca doesn't look at her while she's talking about this. He's
Mm,
really focusing on perfectly browning his marshmallow with a lighter and making his s'more as she's talking about her trauma.
yeah.
And then he'll react a little. He's like, oh, wow, like
Beyond poor,
beyond
yeah.
poor.
What does that
Wow.
mean? That must be real bad. What does beyond poor mean? She goes, like,
Right.
very, very poor, Mecca.
Right. Yeah. I just felt like he's uncomfortable having that kind of conversation and like really
Mhm.
acknowledging her trauma either. Like, he belittles his, and it seems like he's brushing past hers as well, but they both have really been through so much. And what's sad is that then because she has, I think, figured out more ways to cope with it, and because she had a loving family, now her task in the relationship has become to just be supportive of him, and
Yeah.
he doesn't seem to know how to give that back very much. Except that he has gleaned that her family was big on birthdays, so he knows he needs to really show out for hers, which is coming up. So he welcomes her home on her birthday with flowers and a cake, which is covered in so many candles that the fire alarm goes off, and gifts, flaming hot Cheetos, a Marc Jacobs little handbag, all sorts of things. And she's so touched and blown away by how thoughtful it was. Then they have cake, and he starts teasing her that she's clearly in love with him now after he did this, and she kinda teases back that she still has to, like, turn down some avenues in the neighborhood of love and, like, explore everything before she can say that, and then she says, "What about you?" And he says, "Well, I can feel very strongly towards someone and not love them."
Yeah. And this is the problem here with Mecca is like I don't even think he knows what love is or feels like because he
Yeah,
didn't have love growing up and he doesn't really know how to display it or even like focus on like I feel like he's into Belle and then he takes it away and then he takes some
yeah,
steps back and then he's back and he's really into her but he's like but I don't need to be in love with you.
right. And, like, from early on, it seems like he started wanting to kind of keep the upper hand with her by making sure that she was chasing him. And after doing this big birthday moment, maybe this was reactivated for him because he again is trying to make a point of talking about her feeling more strongly than him. Like suddenly, oh, you're clearly so in love with me. Aren't you so in love with me? Like he's just put himself out there for her with this big birthday celebration. Now he wants to hear that he's got the upper hand because she loves him more.
Mhm.
It's just to me, it's off-putting, it's frustrating, but I do think I see where it probably comes from. It's just it sucks for Belle.
I know, I feel bad for Belle.
Tori calls her sister while she's making dinner to fill her in on what a fuckboy Felipe is. Her sister is shocked to hear that Felipe is now craving the single life. He seemed like such a family man. And Tori talks some more shit about Felipe. She's like, he's been babied. His mom shops for him. She decorated his apartment. His dad got him his last job. I haven't seen anything he's done himself. And I'm worried he can't even help me take care of my dog because he's just leads such a sort of self focused lifestyle. And she also says that because she's been love bombed in the past and Felipe said he was trying not to do that, she is wondering if what he's doing is a different form of emotional manipulation, which I don't know if it is or not, but if she's feeling emotionally whipped around by his behavior, that's enough of a concern.
Yes.
And she says her answer right now would be a no. Her sister asks if there's any way she could switch it to a yes. And Tori says, I thought you were going to say, if I switch my husband, wife swap.
Why we keep talking about the wife swap.
And wait, yeah, put the ultimatum inside Married at First Sight. We're
Yeah.
begging
Once
you.
they break up, have them recouple. It's like Love Island style.
Exactly.
We're having a
Feli-
recoupling.
Felipe arrives home and he can clearly sense the chill in the air, but he tries to break the ice by showing her the best way to pat his parents' Sphinx cat's hairless belly.
Hmm.
And Tori's like, "Okay, anyway, I don't trust you to take care of my dog. I'm very busy at work, so I need you to be able to take care of my dog." And he says, "Yeah, if you need me to walk Coda every morning and do more around the house, I can do that. We're a team." And she says, "So less trash?" What? How much trash has there been
I'm like,
around the
"Wait, is
house?
there trash?" Because from his apartment, it looked clean, but again, I think his mom was going over there straightening things up.
Freshly staged
Mhm.
by Mrs. Felipe's mom. She also realizes that while he's feeling good about things, she is not. And he's surprised to hear this. She says she needs him to be more curious about her, like Paul had suggested. And he's like, "You're so right. I have not been curious about you at all, and I need to work on that."
Yeah, I've been curious about all the other women I've been seeing day to
Curious
day.
about the women I haven't met yet, and
Yeah.
their bodies and what they look like underneath all those clothes.
Mhm.
Nikki and Shawn head out on a date to make candles and talk about finances. They're very into, like, planning fun little dates now. Like, they've taken on
Yes.
the assignment of making things more intimate and
They're always
romantic.
on dates. It always involves food usually or some sort of activity.
Yeah, something yeah, the little activity here, she's like, "We could just go out to dinner, or we could make something that we'll be
Yeah.
able to have in our
And talk
apartment
about money.
and talk about money." They seem really aligned on wanting to keep individual accounts, but then put a lot of their money into shared investments and joint, like, costs to support their lifestyle, and they're both like, "Great, yes, building wealth and, like, for our lifestyle together." And they seem to be feeling good, and she's talking about getting things to be to a more romantic place, but it still just feels very bloodless. It's like, "Thank you very much for planning this lovely outing.
Yeah.
How do we feel about Roth IRAs?" You
Like
know?
like, shake hands, like, "Good to see you again, my
Yeah,
friend.
another successful outing.
Yeah, can't wait to talk further about this situation."
And on that note, we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, it will be time for group therapy. And we're back. It's group therapy time, and Courtney and Nick really need it. They've never been in a worse place. Everything they try just reinforces the original problem and makes things so much worse. Courtney tells Nick she's been working to try to make herself better and she really cares about him, but then he just tells her about everything she does wrong. She projects so much. I'm like, that's literally everything that you do to Nick.
But no, no, never tell her that. She'll come after you, Claire.
When she does that, she's just being vulnerable and trying to help him be better because
Yeah.
she cares about their marriage. He tries to respond and says, "I don't think I really ever." And she cuts him off to say, "Of course you don't."
Yeah. You don't do anything. You're just the worst. You're the worst. Ugh, of course not.
Of course you don't. And he says, "Look, you want me to be open, but then you invalidate me before I even say a sentence." Hard to argue with that.
Yes, like, he's right, he is correct.
And she's such an interesting case study. Like, I've never seen anyone behave like this on a show, I think. Courtney responds instead of with any accountability or apology that we can see. She says that she's just a very deep person and she sees that in him, but she can't bring it out of him. And it's so hard for her because she wants to love him and be loved for everything inside her. But everything he says is so superficial. He's hunky and intelligent, but emotionally, it's not there.
Like, and this is just the opposite of all her other complaints, which is like, "You're not goofy enough." And now
Right.
she's like, "You're not deep enough." So
She
what
wants
is
him
he enough of? Like,
nothing. That she wants him to be both goofy and deep, and instead he is just hunky.
hunky. That's
Just
it.
hunky, and that's
And
it.
smart.
This whole rant was such a roller coaster because she's constantly turning from, like, a compliment to an insult to self-pity at such hairpin turns that
Mhm.
I never was prepared for the next thing she was going to say.
I'm just like, "What is happening?" Like, I don't think she's good with this process. Like, I think she should have excused
No.
herself a long time ago. It's clear that there's just too much going on in that noggin of hers. She can't keep track of anything about Nick or anything good or bad about him.
She needs
You're
some time
bad.
to reflect on the narrative she has created for herself about this relationship. Nick says that they're trying to show up for each other and it's not being understood, so he just doesn't really see how this works out long term. Fair. Everyone starts arriving at group therapy. Adam shows up in sweat shorts, which
Yeah.
is so wildly passive aggressive. I my jaw dropped.
He's just, he's only high intensity when it comes to sports, but not to
Yeah.
actually just putting on clothes.
Well, this is him meeting everyone halfway,
Yeah.
right? He's
He's like,
toning down his
I'm too
intensity.
funky with my clothes, and then I'm get, chastised for wearing my kimonos. I'm just gonna wear some sweat shorts.
Well, this is what we see from Adam this set of episodes is that once he actually does take in feedback enough for it to sting, he becomes extremely sulky and petty about it. And it's interesting that that's never happened with Marissa, and I think it's because when she tells him that something's not working for her, it barely registers.
Mhm.
But when Paul says, "You're deflecting with your humor, you're showboating," he's like, "Oh my god, how dare you? Like, I'll show you. I'll wear it my old gym outfit to
Yeah. What do
therapy
you
next
think
time."
now, Paul?
Caitlin arrives in red lipstick because it's Taylor Swift's album release day, and she is a hardcore Swiftie. She's
Life of a
beaming.
showgirl.
She's like, "Devin let me play the whole album for him in the car and explain every song." And Dr. Lisa is astonished. She says, "That's more than most men would give you. He did not have to do that." Like, we all love Devin, okay?
Yeah,
But
Dr.
this is
Lisa really
absurd.
likes Devin. She's always on Devin's side.
This is wild to me. The bar truly is so low that
Yes.
listening to a musical album that is radio friendly pop and listening to some of her thoughts about it is considered to be this huge self-sacrificial gesture that most men would certainly never do.
I gotta tell Will, I'll be like, "Babe, do you know that you made the biggest sacrifice for me by listening to Taylor Swift's new album
What a
months ago?"
guy. What a guy. Wait until they find out that Greg used to play Taylor Swift albums for me while I assembled our IKEA furniture. They'll
Be
be
like,
so confused.
Claire, listen to this one. It's so good."
This will be a level of gender confusion that these people have never experienced.
Ugh.
Paul warns them before they start their solo focuses that tonight they should decide if they're all in or not, because it's just like a couple of weeks until decision day, and they've got to really lock in.
And I love it, and he's like, "And Courtney and Nick, let's start with you."
Let's start with you. How are you? Are you feeling pretty all in tonight? Courtney says she just wants Nick to be his real self, and Nick says he is his real self, but he doesn't know how to convince her of that.
The real self stuff, it's just, "Come on, lady, like, we gotta move on from this."
It's starting to feel like at points I wondered, is it because she latched on to the he's just a reality show
Mhm.
guy who's playing it safe? Is it because they're just so different? Is
It
it
definitely is a
because
and it's gotta be. Like, once she found that out at the wedding, it's been like a thing. She
yeah,
just doesn't know if he's genuine, and it's a fair point, but I feel like at this point, you've kinda seen who Nick
yeah.
is.
I think that it's definitely was the inciting that gave her the framework. Like,
Mhm.
he's playing a part. But I also think that part of what's happening is that she just really doesn't like his personality, but it feels nicer to say, "I'm sure I would like your real personality if you
Yeah.
could just show it to me. Why won't you show it to me? I know that I would like it." And he's like, "No, this is it." And she's like, "No, that one's not acceptable. There's gotta be a better personality under there. Keep digging."
Oh my god.
They both admit that they have not really found a romantic connection together. And Nick says that he feels he could stay just to grow as a person, but he doesn't think that's fair to Courtney. Dr. Lisa asks if he even knows what work they could do on their relationship at this point, and he's like, "I don't know." Courtney is livid.
Mm.
She snaps at him that he could know if he listened to her. Everyone's like gasping. She says all she wants to do is make their marriage better and make him better as a person. And he just wants to stay to make himself better. And then she's like, "So, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you for that."
And everyone's just like, "Ugh." And so was I.
Uh,
I was like, "Wow, the
there's
nerve."
so much anger directed at him. And unless some,
She never points the blame towards herself. She never
right,
looks inward to be like, "Maybe we're not good together because I have my own issues." It's always blaming him for
right.
whatever's wrong in their relationship. He can't even say like, "Yeah, there's no connection." She gets, like, so pissed that he even says, "How could you not have a connection with me?" Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm perfect. I'm
Although she
vulnerable.
doesn't
I'm
feel one
goofy.
either. I've got it all. Like, it is like every negative emotion that she has, whether it's shame or disappointment or frustration, everything turns into anger directed at him.
Mhm.
And it feels so wildly disproportionate because what did he really do wrong here? And yes, he said maybe he would only want to stay for a selfish reason. But as he points out, he immediately acknowledged that that would be really unfair to Courtney. So he wasn't saying, I choose to stay to make myself better as a person and fuck Courtney. I don't
Yeah.
care. He
No,
was
he says,
saying,
like, "I could stay and work on this and then better myself, but that isn't fair to you."
and Courtney, I'm gonna give you, like, a little bit of, like, a media literacy lesson here, like, a comprehension lesson. When someone says that, when someone uses that formulation, what they mean is, "I shouldn't stay." Like, if they say, "I could stay to do this, but that wouldn't be fair to them," that means, obviously, I shouldn't stay, right? Do you see how that's the point he's
She's
making?
like, "Fuck you."
Ugh, Paul asks if they want to end their marriage tonight. Cliffhanger, we have to wait until episode 14 to
They're just like
find out.
everybody's waiting with bated breath.
And Courtney's answer is, "I don't know." Courtney
You
wants
do
someone
know.
else to do
You
it.
do know.
I think part of her anger is that Nick hasn't ended it.
Yeah.
She's like, "I don't wanna do
But
it,
then if
but
he ended it, she'd be like, "How dare you?"
how dare you?" Yeah. Well, she wants him to end it so that she can both be free and also get to be mad at him about it.
Yeah.
Win-win. Michelle pipes up and says that she has stayed in a relationship in the past because she wanted it to work so badly, and it just wastes time that you could be finding your person. We all recognize this clip from the trailer of them trying to make it seem like Michelle was talking about her in
Mhm.
cam. They're all starting to like talk back and forth about the pros and cons of them staying in the marriage. And finally Courtney is fed up. She's just bursts out that there's no reason they should stay. She's like, "Okay, I've enough. Like we
Yeah.
shouldn't stay together."
Nobody can tell me what to do. I'm gonna do it myself.
Nick agrees. He's like, "Yeah, we should probably just rip off the
Can you
Band-Aid."
imagine Nick was like, "No."
"No, Courtney, babe. I'm having so much fun." As they hug and say goodbye to everyone, Courtney tells Adam they need a pickleball rematch, and he says, "You gotta train first."
Ugh.
Brutal.
And Courtney's just like, "I'm gonna start screaming 'fuck you' at you too now, Adam." Like,
She's like,
also, is she
shots
flirting?
fired."
Like, was she trying to
I
recouple?
I think she was shooting her shot a little bit. I think she's been doing a lot of signaling to Adam that when this is all over, he knows where to find someone who can give him what he has been saying in every session and group dinner he seeks, which is someone with strong hobbies that match his, who will have a high level of intensity about them. She's like, "It's me. I'm right in front of you. Hit me
Why
up."
don't you see me? Listen,
Right.
I could never watch that couple together. I would be done because the minute Courtney and Nick broke up, my whole chest just, like, released. Like, I was like, "Yay." I hold
Yeah.
so much tense energy when I watch them on my screen.
I do not need to see Courtney anymore. Outside, they say goodbye. He tears up and says this isn't how he wanted this to go, but he's glad he did it with her. Bullshit, Nick. If you could trade her for
Yeah.
basically anyone else, I'm sure you would. But he's just saying the nice thing. Courtney is furious.
She's so
Of
mean. Like, you
course.
already broke up. Can't you just be nice for 1 minute? Just try it. Just try to be kind to this man.
Yeah, I love female rage. However, some people take it a little bit far. Like, you've gotta tap into a feeling other than anger sometimes. She's mad that he's finally crying and opening up now that it's over, and that's all she wanted the whole time. Like, for him to cry, I guess, and if
That's
he had cried
that's the
before, she would
personality she's been craving is just a crybaby.
Yeah, she's like, "If you had just cried about this process not working out while we were still in the process,
Mhm.
maybe
I'm
we'd
sure
still
he
be
did wanna
married."
cry a lot of times.
I think it must be a little bit confusing to be with Courtney because she has such clear ideas of what kind of traditional macho masculine man she wants her partner to be. That typically does not go along with weeping in emotional
Mm.
moments. And we all love complexity, right? And we love a man who can do both, but she's got him all like uptight and tense about doing the wrong thing and giving her the ick because she expects such a rigid gender performance from her man, and then she's like, "All I wanted was for you to just, like, sob like a little bitch,
Yeah, and then be a little goofy on the
and then be
side,
goofy, and then know how to fix the
but
espresso
still look
machine."
hunky.
But still a conky.
Like, it's whiplash, like, there's she doesn't know what she wants. She doesn't even know what she needs him to be.
Well, this is where I think she got too few of the curiosity lectures. Like, instead of trying to micromanage him into performing the husbandly role in the way that she thinks he should and that she expects, like, she's trying to, like, nudge him here and there to fit him into the template. She could have really thought about being more curious about who he actually is, like, actually trying to understand what makes him tick, noticing what he's up to.
No, too much effort on her part.
Yeah.
He needs to put in all the effort.
Yeah.
She's the prize.
Well, she did work really hard on touching him. Nick tries to tell her that he's just appreciated her, and she says, but not enough to stay and work on it.
It's like, "You just broke up with him. You're the one that called it. Like, what do you want?"
What is she like? Nick is truly at a loss. He's like, I don't even know what to say. Like, everything is the wrong answer. Can we just, like, end on a nice note? It's over. I'm just trying to end on a nice note. And she says, well, yeah, okay, there's no point in fighting. Let's hug it out. But then she tells the camera that she deserves more deserves more something, and I won't be specifying. Shawn and Nikki are next, and Nikki is having a hard time because she's an empath.
Mm.
And Courtney and Nick are having a tough time, but she does finally gather herself to say that she and Shawn have progressed, but the trust is still growing between them. Shawn says his issue with Nikki right now is that there isn't consistent emotional availability and he hasn't met anyone important to her. So he just feels like there's a puzzle piece missing, like below the surface. Nikki says she's not ready for a family introduction yet, but Dr. Lisa is not pleased with that. Nikki says that she wasn't proud of her marriage at the beginning, so she didn't want to sort of stand behind it and show him off to her family, but well, maybe now she's ready to broker that meeting.
It's another just, like, legal discussion, like, we're talking
Broker.
finances, we're talking, like, real estate closings, we're
Yeah,
talking
broker killed me. I was like, "What do you mean broker a meeting?"
with my
Is this
mother.
right? She's like, This is a high level diplomatic sort of situation. I need to go back and forth and get concessions from both parties."
Yeah.
I feel like she was backtracking a little bit here. She wanted to put off the family meeting more, but when Dr. Lisa was displeased, she was like, okay, well, I
Yeah,
guess
I'll
we're ready
try.
enough now. Yeah, that's what I meant, actually. Paul asks how romantic they are when the cameras are off, and Shawn says Nikki is a little gun shy, so it's more comfortable for her when they don't talk about it. But he knows she's slow to open up, and he has seen the progress of that over time. Nikki says that the physical attraction and emotional side are very important, and she feels they've had physical contact, but it isn't necessarily
We've
romantic.
had physical contact. We've touched each other, and we've eaten, we've worn red robes, and he's fed me treats in my mouth, but that's about it.
I feel like they need to get on the same page about whether they're romantic or not. Like in the past, he has said that they have been at a platonic level, and she said, well, we've been kissing. I don't think that's platonic. Now she's saying, well, it's not romantic. What is it?
And we've seen some clips, like, especially night vision, where Nikki is definitely engaging in some stuff.
I think she's gonna be engaging more and more. Uh, Paul says that this sounds like a joint venture, and they all laugh. And Shawn and Nikki love this. They're like, please, I think business meetings are a turn on. You're getting me hot and bothered.
Any
Let's
legal
talk about
jargon.
circling back. Yeah. They're like, we're in the boardroom, and that's where we feel comfortable. But Paul really wants her to also be feeling more of the romance and the warm fuzzies and also be bringing in her community. Shawn says for him, what he wants is to have specific goals like tonight we'll meet your mom. Tomorrow night we'll take a bath together. The next night, we'll wear pajamas and gaze into each other's eyes. Poor Nikki. Like, everyone is, like, giggling behind their hands at the idea of him putting "take a bath together" on their calendar. Like, "Take a bath together, 9 p.m."
Yeah.
Everyone's, like, cracking up and trying to hide it, and poor Nikki looks like she wants to die.
Yeah. Me too, Nikki.
Like,
Anytime this man could be in a robe, he is happy. No matter
yeah.
he could be doing anything, as long as it involves a plush robe.
Right. Can I be in a robe and gazing into your eyes? Can I be in a robe and then slipping right out of that robe into a
Yeah.
warm tub? Can I be in a robe and meeting your mom? Because if I can be wearing a robe, I'd like to do that while I'm meeting your
And I'll buy
mom.
her one too.
Yeah, everyone can have a robe. Uh, Poor Nikki is like, "I'm on a journey, okay? I don't want time-bound specific assignments," and I'm sure she doesn't want everyone at the table to know that they plan to take a bath tonight.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
she's like, "Please, we'll
That's the thing with
discuss
Nikki.
this
Nikki
later."
is down for a lot of what Shawn's down for, but she likes to keep it, like, close to them and their partnership. She doesn't like to air out
Yeah.
any of the sort of sensual stuff they're doing or
Yeah. I think gun shy is kind of an appropriate word. Like, she doesn't wanna be spooked
yeah.
and get that, like, that ick or that discomfort. She's like, "If we're gonna do this, I need to feel that I will always be able to control the comfort level and approach it at the right moment when I'm feeling ready, or I will freeze up."
Yeah, Shawn's more like, "Let's talk, baby. Let's, like, air this out to everybody. I want everyone to
Yeah.
know how sexual I am and how me and Nikki are exploring that."
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "Let's open up let's open up the Outlook, let's open up Google Cal and see where we can schedule some specific sex acts. I really wanna get those on the books." They are left with a Dr. Lisa assignment to intentionally push themselves in the direction of intimacy. She's like, "It has to have a vibe." Nikki looks very alarmed, but
She's like,
she
"No,
doesn't
it's
pretend.
homework. Now I have to do it."
Oh, she's like, "Okay, I guess we'll have intimacy. Fuck." Felipe and Tori are next, and they're asked about their most significant conflicts. Tori says his indecisiveness around what he wants is a big issue for her. Felipe says it's not about Tori, it's about whether he wants to be married. Paul brings up the comment from the group dinner about how he'd miss having sex with lots of women. And Felipe gets really defensive and says this was the most obvious thing he'd miss about being single. Of course, he would miss that. That would be obvious for anyone single. Paul and Dr. Lisa totally disagree.
He's like, "What do you mean? Don't all single people
I'm like,
just wanna
Felipe,
go out every night and"
I know you're a Chad now, but that means you should know that a lot of single people are not having sex with a lot of a lot of eligible singles. Probably having sex regularly is what a lot of people would look forward to about being married.
Yes, exactly.
Paul tells Felipe that every mature man, when he finds a great thing, will shut everything off to focus on the great thing. The way that he said this really made me think that, like, the vibe was very Shark Tank to me. It was like once I realized that I had come up with this revolutionary new beer koozie, like, invention that tells you the temperature of the beer while it's in the koozie, I knew that I had to quit my job and put all of my life savings into being on Shark Tank. It's like, I will make history with my invention. Who wants in, sharks?
Right. It's so good.
But in this case, the one great thing is Tori.
The story.
Tori is the beer koozie. And he says when men vacillate, they're really saying, I'm just not ready. I wasn't really sure what point Paul was making here, unless what he's trying to say, sort of in an oblique way, to Felipe is maybe you're just immature.
Yeah. I know. That's the sense I got too. Maybe you're just not ready for this. You're a little immature. But it
Right.
sounded good coming out of his mouth, but I
Well,
was
because I was
very
like,
confused.
isn't Felipe suggesting that he's not sure? So doesn't, like, he's saying he's not ready.
Mhm.
But Paul is saying, well, that's because you're immature. It's not because you're some sort of incredible man about town living his best life. It's because you're a big man baby
Yeah, and horny.
and horny. I think a lot of I think that we still have to go back to Cam's advice here, which is basically like you're at your peak of sexual attractiveness right now. What the best move you can make is lock down the hottest woman you've ever met right now before your sexual capital
He's like,
falls
"You're
off a
never gonna
cliff.
get better than Tori."
Yeah, and like the options are gonna slow, you're not all that. Tori says it feels like emotional manipulation and selfishness. She's questioning how genuine he is in committing to this process. Paul asks Felipe what would scare him more, seeing Tori in a committed relationship in a year or being alone in a year. And Felipe says seeing Tori with someone else. Obviously, because he'd love to
He'd
be
love to be
single
alone.
and having lots of sex with other women, but then he would see Tori out with her boyfriend and he'd be like, oh,
Oh,
well,
I wanna have sex with her too.
I want to have sex with her too. Man, her fiance is going to be having sex with her now. Not fair.
Damn.
Paul says, well, she will be soon if you let her go. Tori says that she thinks he cares enough about her to stay, but not enough to care about her emotional state throughout. Ding, ding, ding.
Mhm.
Paul says Felipe is harming her by coming in very charismatic, but with all this doubt. And he says, you have to just decide today if you're all in or not. Felipe says, well, I did decide today and yesterday and the day before that. For all 3 of those days, he was present with her and he was all in. Paul's like, I don't believe you. I can just tell in your body language and how you're talking about it. You're half assing it. Felipe disagrees. He says he's very confident in his marriage. And Paul says, I don't believe you. Felipe says it's hard to convince Paul because he's not the person he needs to convince. And Paul says, now you're being disrespectful with me.
Mm. Yeah, don't mess
Fel-
with Paul. He'll take
don't
you
mess with
down.
Paul's like, you actually do need to convince me. And if you don't think so, that's incredibly rude of you. Felipe tries to backtrack, but Paul tells Felipe everything he says is half ass and he needs to step up and make Tori feel that he's all in. I thought this was a quite an exchange. Do you think that that Paul took the right tack here?
I mean, listen, you gotta tell Felipe you do gotta talk to Felipe like he is a man
Got,
child.
got to put him in his place a little bit.
But I love when
Yeah.
he's just like, "I don't believe anything." I think Felipe is just like, he's been coddled his whole life.
Yeah.
He expects things to just be, done for him, and he expects to just be able to do what he wants to do, and I do think he likes Tori, but I don't think he's willing to give up, like, his freedom, his sexual freedom to be with her. Um,
Yeah.
I feel bad for Tori. I think she should run for the hills.
She definitely should run. I kind of was surprised by Paul's reaction because I don't think Felipe was trying to be disrespectful or confrontational. I think he was trying to say, I can only really convince Tori, and that's what matters because we're married and I need to convince her of that with my actions. And it's hard to sit here and make you believe that.
Yeah.
And I think I would expect it to be taken more that way, but I love that Paul takes any opportunity to put Felipe back in
Yeah.
line. So I'm like, I can't argue with
And
it.
Paul's just like, "You gotta convince me.
Yeah, he's
I
like, "You
am
actually
running the
do."
show here. I am the head therapist on Married at First Sight,
He's like,
and
"Oh,
I need to believe you."
you don't care about my opinion, Felipe?" Belléjolie and Mecca are next. Dr. Lisa points out that Mecca, like Felipe, is always questioning whether he's ready to be all in. Belle says that she has chosen Mecca, but in past relationships, she's always been the initiator, and she doesn't want to push Mecca into a decision he's not comfortable with. Paul says that if she does this, she can end up repressing her feelings, and that can lead to resentment. So she shouldn't hold back just to sort of protect Mecca. She should say what she's feeling, and then how he responds will kind of give her information. So Paul asks Mecca if he chooses Belle, and he pauses and kind of looks around and then says yes. Somehow even less convincing than Felipe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yes. I Dr. Lisa says basically like you need to describe your feelings more. I don't know how you feel about that. Yes. And Mecca obliges and says, "Well, it's not a hell yes. If it were decision day, it would be a yes, but not a hell yes."
So, this is just Mecca in a phrase, like,
Yeah.
"It's this, but not fully."
Yeah. I'm not enthusiastic about
Yeah,
it, but I'm like,
but I'll
"Sure.
say it, yeah.
Sure, I'll stay married." Paul says he needs to focus on the 2 V's, vision and voice. I need more elaboration on what that means because I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm like, vision and voice. The 5 senses, are you
I
done?
know. I need an infographic. Dr. Lisa points out that there are actually 3 V's, and then Mecca gets to do a whole thing about how he's already taken care of the 3rd
Oh,
V.
yeah. I was like, "Come on, Lisa. Why'd you have to"
Yeah.
you just, like, you gave that to him on a silver platter.
And then Adam points out that there are actually 4 because of vibes. And poor Paul is like, "My framework has been hijacked." Like, no one's focusing on vision and voice anymore.
The vibes and the vag.
I think some would say those are actually the most important parts.
Mm.
Adam and Marissa are next. Speaking of people who think the vibes are the most important part, Adam really looks like he's a sulky teenager. He's clearly trying to make a point to Paul. Not only is he wearing the sort of loungewear gym look, he is leaning fully back on the couch with his feet kicked up on the coffee table.
Yeah. He looks like he's in, like, a parent's basement,
Yeah.
circa 2006, like,
Yeah, the posture is sort of defiant. It's like, "Oh, you expect me to give a fuck? I don't." Like, "You want me to take this seriously?
I
You're a
don't.
joke, dad." Like, and Paul asks if he's comfortable, and they all laugh, but Dr. Lisa says, I don't see any urgency in your body language here. It doesn't seem like you're taking this seriously." Adam says, "Well, my posture might be giving that, but I'm actually just really focused on full sending it."
The has the full send just hit you to, like, full send the fuck out of here? Because that's me. Anytime I hear full send now, I'm just like, the
I
cringe.
Well, what real and Shawn brings this up later in a different context, and I think he's completely right. Adam has so few words to describe his relationship, his attitude, that he can't actually convey any change or nuance or texture in what's
No.
happening. Because guess what? Before you started taking this seriously, you also said you were full sending it.
That's what I'm
So what
like,
does it mean
he's just
now
like
to say
a
you're full
robot. I feel
sending
like he
it?
just has buttons that he pushes, like full send, vibes, ripping it,
Yeah,
like,
he's got the string that you pull out the back,
yes.
and he says his catchphrase. Like, if you're changing your attitude from last week when you said you were full sending it by ripping it on the jet ski every day,
Mhm.
and now full sending it means something different, maybe try using different
Yeah, like,
words.
what is a full send?
Right. Like, you're so focused on taking the marriage seriously that you have to comfortably lay back during group therapy and put your shoes up on the
Yeah.
table.
As your wife is, like, dead in the eyes, just sitting there miserable.
I've never seen a woman transform into, like, the vision of a desperate housewife so
Mm.
quickly, like, she
Mhm.
looks trapped. Dr. Lisa says they seem like good social playmates.
Sure.
Sorry. Um, Speaking of things that just feel very 80s coded in the vocabulary, this
You're great social playmates.
but they've just been cruising, and Adam says they were cruising, but they're out of cruise control. He says Marissa has put a lot of effort in to meet his level of physical activity. She's been going to the gym and playing pickleball in her friend's private court. Marissa nods. Her eyes look so empty. Like
She's like,
she looks like her eyes are unfocused, like she's trying to dissociate so she doesn't actually have to be here emotionally.
did he
And I
force her to, like, go to her friend's pickleball ball court? Like, he's terrible,
this
this
is
man.
wild after every conversation that they've had about how she needs more balance, she needs more of an understanding that she's not gonna bring that level of intensity, he comes right in and says things have really improved because she's committed to getting
Yeah,
better at
and she's, like, going
pickleball.
to the gym, like, are you forcing her to go to the gym? Like, it's just kinda creepy at this point.
It is creepy, it's unsettling, and also, again, you're cruise controlling by doing the same thing as before, which is demanding that she meet you at the level of physical intensity that you prefer.
Yeah,
So,
just let her
where's
live, like, why does she have to do what you do?
let
Because of
her
his
read
ex-girlfriend.
let her read a book in the bleachers during your pickleball game.
Yeah.
Dr. Lisa asks if he's reciprocating by introducing her to the family. That doesn't really seem like reciprocation to me, but he says yes, there will be a kickback and she'll meet his sister. Marissa is surprised to hear this.
She's like, "I'm meeting your sister? When's this happening?"
I'm surprised and I'm skeptical that it will ever come to pass. Marissa says her friends had concerns when they finally met him, and Adam is surprised to hear this. He's like, I thought we were cool. I thought they loved me. She brings up the concern she and her friends have about his intensity level, but she says he has shown some amenability to compromise, clearly by the fact that he's
Forcing you.
making her go to private pickleball court.
He's probably, like, tying her to his jet ski and being like, "I'll take you."
I imagine the conversation going something like this. I will go to happy hour with your friends if you go to private pickleball practice 3 nights
A
a
week,
week
and I'm
after
gonna,
work
like, sit on my jet ski with my binoculars and
and
make sure
watch.
that you're at the highest level of intensity.
If you're just in there having champagne on the court with your girls,
Not good
marriage
enough.
over.
Yep, not good enough for us.
Paul has 3 concerns about their communication at this point, which he lists. He starts by saying that Adam was unaware her friends were critical. Adam is so hyped to be the victim for this. He's like, "That's right. She didn't tell me that. Wow. She didn't tell me that." Then Paul says, "Also, Marissa, you're surprised to be meeting Adam's sister. And also, Adam is happy with the pacing of the relationship, and Marissa is not. And Adam is really bummed that he does not sound like the good guy in
He
those
doesn't have a
second 2.
perfect score.
He's only 1 for 3. He's like, "Well, we can always communicate better and do better," but he seems really irritated.
Mhm.
Michelle and Cam are next. Michelle says they feel really strongly, so strongly that they're wondering whether they're in a bubble, but her friends love him. She sees life outside with him. It's all going really well. Cameron does bring up his fear that the excitement and passion will fade. And Paul says this is a healthy concern to have, I guess, until you start saying things like, I will really miss having sex with lots of other women, at which point it doesn't sound so healthy anymore. Paul says you have to fall in love with your partner 20 times by remaining endlessly curious about them. That keeps passion
It's
alive.
just his number one thing. It's just stay curious.
He's
I'm gonna
like,
get a sign made for my house. It's just stay curious.
stay curious, my
Thanks,
friends.
Paul. Paul.
That is advice I actually am taking.
I
And
know he
he has
said
given
that,
a
yeah.
good amount of advice that I'm always taking. And he and Dr. Lisa get to brag about how they've both been married for over 20 years. And so they know a thing about
Trust
staying
them.
curious.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cam and Michelle admit that they have said they're falling in love, although Cam makes a big point that Michelle said it first. But he does admit that he drove 3 hours to spend the night with her because he missed her, and Paul says that is love in action. They're always trying to get the men to be like, "Don't you kind of feel like that's love?" And the men are like, "No, I don't
No,
think so."
no. But that was sweet that he drove all that way to just spend one night with her.
Yeah, I think they really, really like each other. Caitlin and Devin are next, and she says that they have made good progress this week. They finally talked about what she went through with her ex, which is something she rarely shares. And he says that now he really understands what she went through. And so he has assured her that she's safe with him and they have like more trust. We don't really know exactly what they went through, but
This happens a lot, though. You bring that up.
yeah.
So all these important conversations aren't aired. So we're
Yeah. And
just hearing like what was said, but it would be nice to be able to kind of be
yeah.
a viewer to this scene to get to know Caitlin more, I feel like. But
Yeah, and I part of me wishes we knew for context. Part of me thinks, "Oh, it's not fair or sensitive to ask people to divulge that kind of thing on camera if they're not comfortable." Part of me is like, "Well, they signed up for this
Mm.
show." Um, but it really Caitlin's whole arc, I know, is very frustrating to people, and it can be very frustrating to watch because she did sign up for this instant marriage show. Um, but it really kind of highlights for me something that's also the case with Nikki and Courtney and a good amount of the other women, which is that there's so much pressure on them to to do things physically that they're not comfortable with yet, or to have like a good reason to not do it. But then even if they have a reason, it's like, well, just do it anyway. Like it feels almost coercive the way that there is this um constant insinuation that because they chose to get married, that means that if they're not comfortable putting themselves out there physically, if they don't feel trust in their partner yet, if they don't feel that attraction yet, well, you did sign up for this and now you have to put out.
Mm.
I can see the frustration that they maybe weren't ready for this setting and they came anyway, but I never think it's appropriate to sort of publicly shame people for not being ready to advance their physical relationship yet.
No, not at all, and I feel like she's one of those that has stood up to that concept, like, the most, like,
Mm.
I'm not it's not as important to me as it is to other people, and we're still getting to know each other, and I can't get there. So I am like, I do like Caitlyn a lot, I just wish I knew her more. So I get why these private conversations are important to them and how we don't always have to be keen to what's happening, but I also was like, "Oh, I probably would've, like, learned more about how her mind works,
Yeah.
knowing, like, what happened with the ex and everything like that, because they do seem much more connected after this certain conversation.
Yeah, you have to share so much to like really feel that kind of trust and bond with your partner. And we haven't seen them sharing a lot, but it's good that they're starting to do that. Paul points out that it seems like their emotional connection is growing and so is their affection level. Like they're really kind of up on each other on the couch and he's like physically reassuring her and everyone's so proud of them. Then Caitlin says that there were reasons she had to be, quote, in her masculine, but it wasn't very attractive. It's nice to be soft. Why has she been fighting this?
I was confused, but
I don't
I don't know if I'm ever in my masculine.
Well, you are right now because 'cause you're working, Lee,
Right. Oh my god, you're
right?
so right.
You're so in your masculine
This
right
is when
now.
I'm masculine, is when I'm working. But yeah, otherwise I find that I don't necessarily think, "Hmm, have I been in my masculine today?"
I Everything always goes back to masculinity and femininity discourse these days. I don't think that, like, being soft and loving to your partner is being in your feminine. I think that men need to do that
Yeah, I'm just
too.
like, that's just being sentimental, loving.
Right. That's just being romantic together, that's just being loving together, and I think what she's really seems to be talking about is that she had her guard up because and why? Because men treated her badly. She was protecting herself, and now that she seems to not need protection for a week and a half, she's, like, pathologizing that. She's saying, "Oh, well, I should have just been soft. It's nice to be soft and vulnerable."
Yeah.
Like, sometimes women just like men, we all have to be strong sometimes and we all have to take care of ourselves and we also have to be soft and gentle with people that we love. And the gender essentialist reads on it are just so frustrating. Paul asks if Devin is still having his light dimmed, and Devin says she's being a little more receptive. And the next step is being, quote, a fucking man and telling her in the moment when he feels something instead of letting it fester.
Because that's what men do, you know?
Yeah.
They're
And
tough. They'll stand up for they'll stand up for themselves.
it almost feels like some of this masculine feminine discourse is like the equivalent of selling a pink razor or packaging Greek yogurt in a black container that says like man protein juice. You know, it's like It's like, we have to make it somehow masculine coded for you to
Mhm.
be honest about your feelings so that men will do it, and we have to
Yes.
make it
Like, yeah,
fem
pink razors that are, like, for your softer side.
exactly, for the ladies, like, we have to put all these totally gender neutral healthy relationship behaviors into gendered packaging so that people can feel like it is a sort of conforming performance that makes them feel good about themselves when they do it.
Yeah. Devin and Caitlin, though, touch on this, like, a lot, this
Yeah,
masculine, feminine energies.
and I
I don't
should
know if
have
she
seen
wants
it
to be, like, one of
coming.
the boys or something, like, is that what she means by, like, her masculine? Like,
I think she means that she's, like, very independent and,
mm,
like, always working and looking out for herself and not, like, opening up and being like, soft and receptive. And maybe some of that is just her having her guard up. I think we should have seen some of this coming though, because from the beginning she was very like, "Oh, I want a guy who looks like a football player and he's so
mhm.
strong and meaty." And he was like, "Oh, I love how like sweet and dainty she is." Like they clearly both love the sort of their gender differentiation,
Yes,
and
they're
that's important to
stereotypical,
them.
yeah.
Then Devin says he's still going to be his goofy self, even if she doesn't laugh at his goofy jokes. Concerning. I think you're probably gonna wanna marry someone who laughs at your jokes.
Let me tell you, Courtney's looking for a goofy guy, Devin, so
Yeah. Where did Courtney go? Would she like to shoot her shot at any of the other men? Caitlin says she likes his witty jokes. She says, "You gotta give me something to laugh at."
yeah, this is another one. They're just, like, not connect their personalities aren't really meshing.
They found a lot of things about their profiles that made sense together. Unfortunately, there are just a few really important things that don't work together, so everyone moves on, no hard feelings, right? After group therapy, Mecca seems really shocked that Shawn gave Nikki a list of demands, like the bath.
But
And Belle says, "Well, I think he was just giving examples." And Mecca says, "Well, then he could have just said that when everyone was talking about the bath. He could have said, 'That's just an example,' but he didn't because he really wants to take
he
a
wants to
bath
take the
together."
bath. I know Belle was, like, standing up for Shawn, and I was like, I'm siding
Yeah.
with Mecca on this one."
I think that Mecca as another man was like, "I know how men's minds work,
Yeah.
and
He
when
wants
a
that
man
bath.
wants a bath, that's if it were me, I'd be saying I want a bath."
Yeah,
And so I think clearly that's what Shawn
he
is
wants a
doing.
bath.
On the spy cams, we see Shawn telling Nikki sort of animatedly that Paul wants them to try things that will feel uncomfortable and performative the first time. Nikki seems resigned and tells the camera that attraction isn't everything in a marriage. This is one of those moments where I felt just like deep despair about sending these women into these marriages and then putting a lot of external pressure on them to do sexual things they're not comfortable with for
Yeah.
the success of their marriage.
That has been the most uncomfortable part of the show for me, for sure,
Yeah.
is just the men just being like, "We're married, so
Right. It's like the
let's
marriage
go."
gives them a license to sort of demand certain things that I think even on Love is Blind, we don't see that level of emphasis being placed on. Well, obviously, we have to, you're my wife.
Yeah, we need to
So,
yeah, we gotta drive the car
yeah,
before we agree that this is forever.
this is why women shouldn't get married because men hear the word wife and they're like, sex toy.
Mhm. Unless you're Felipe.
Ugh, Felipe is like every woman is a sex toy. My wife, the other women.
Mhm.
Felipe is spiraling. He is really frustrated about how that went. Tori is kind of defending her own position on this and her reticence. And she says, "Well, I've given you space. I told you to figure it out. You didn't sound any different at therapy tonight." And Felipe says that she and Paul painted him negatively. Tori says that he says he's into her, but she doesn't feel it. Felipe says he likes her more than when he first saw her, but that scares him. He says he doesn't want to be defensive. He just wants a chance to fix it. He says, "Give me a week to show you I want you." And she says, "Well, what does that look like?" And he's like, "There's nothing I can say. We should take it offline." And she's like, "No, not the sexy board meeting." He's like, "We're going to
No.
hit our
Oh
KPIs."
my god.
Uh,
So unserious, Felipe.
Shawn and Nikki the next morning discuss meeting the families, and he says his mom has been really wanting to talk to Nikki to give them support. And Nikki admits she was leaning on her mom in the early weeks of the marriage when she didn't feel respected or heard by Shawn. And so clearly her mom has already decided he sucks. So she is trying to broker a meeting. She's like, my mom does not want to talk to you.
Yeah, she's like, "Listen, I might have told my mom some things," and she's already
Yeah.
got her judgment set.
She was like, I'm really optimistic that I could convince my mom to get on FaceTime like tomorrow or maybe the day after that. Just let me take the temperature real
Yeah.
quick. Shawn is convinced that she'll fall in love with him once they speak. Shawn is very convinced of his effect on women.
Yeah, he's like, "Every woman just she's gonna love me. I'm gonna buy her, like I said, a plush robe. She's gonna
Yeah.
love it."
I also suspect that his mom has been, like, wanting to give Nikki an earful because she's like, "Why does this woman not worship you the
Mhm.
way that she should?" Cam and Michelle have a bit of a rough bit here because Cam is feeling blue. We see on the spy cams that he's depressed, he's hanging on the couch, and Michelle is trying to comfort him, and he's like, "I just feel shitty," and she says, "Well, not every day will be a good one." So they walk the dogs and they talk about his emotions. And he sort of asks her why she is so confident in them and likes him so much. It's hard for him to relate. He's like, life isn't always fun. How can you always have this optimistic sort of outlook on us? And she says, well, if it were always fun, it wouldn't feel fulfilling. Just like how basketball needs to be competitive. And if you were always winning, it wouldn't be fun. And he's like, I would love to win every time, actually.
He's like, "Winning is the goal."
She's like, "You think that, but it's satisfying to overcome a challenge, and we can do that together." I suspect that Cam's mental health does not vibe well with being a basketball coach, which is a
Yeah.
job that I think could be fun and fulfilling, but it seems like finds it unbelievably stressful.
Yes, you could tell his job is stresses him out, and, Michelle, though, in this moment is such a good, like she's so calm, she's collected, she has, like she's, saying all the right things,
Yeah, she's
but I
giving him
feel
a
like
pep
he's
talk.
kind of a glass half empty kinda guy, and she's always looking
Yeah.
the other way, so
He's a bit of an Eeyore, and
mm,
I'm sort of an Eeyore myself, so I get it, like, I've been in his position, I've had my partner have to kind of take me on the dog walk and lift me out of it, but that can't be the coping strategy forever, right? He's gonna have to come up with some other approaches than Michelle cheering him up every
mhm.
time. Adam and Marissa go on a hot tub boat date with a picnic. He tells the camera that his takeaway from therapy was to full send it, which
Mm.
is always his takeaway and also always his starting position.
Yeah, like, full send me somewhere else. Every time he says this, like, I am just like, "Nah." I feel like I'm watching the same scene over and over again with him.
It literally is because he never
He talks about anything
actually
else.
talks about anything else, makes any changes. He's always convinced that he's making a change and he's expressing that in the same words and by doing the same things. So he's trying to make a concession to her intensity level. He's planned this loungy date. They're going to be on a boat in a hot tub having a little picnic. And he immediately makes it weird by shotgunning a seltzer, doing push ups over the hot tub, then making her do push ups with him and critiquing her form
Mhm. I just this no, this guy, this bro, this dude, full send him
to the
off the
bottom of the
jacuzzi boat.
sea. At a certain point, he slips off the boat, and I was like, "The boat is trying to get rid of
Yeah,
you.
the boat is angry with
The
you.
boat
Like,
has
this
had
boat's
enough."
not meant for push-ups. This boat is meant for lounging and relaxing.
What an excellent idea to do barefoot push-ups on a slippery surface with hard edges.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong? Oh, I know what could make this even better. Insist to her that she needs to stretch her body and her effort even further by going all the way down until her face is, like, resting
Yeah.
against the sharp edge of the pool.
Yeah, and then her arm gives out and she has a traumatic brain injury, because that's high level shit, you know?
I was like, "Are you like, you went through all this effort to plan a chill date, and you're making it intense and
Unchill.
unpleasant." The absolute last thing I wanna do on a chill picnic hot tub date with my boyfriend or husband or whatever is get into a push-up competition on a slippery surface with a man who plays 3 hours of pickleball a
Yeah,
day.
and shotgun seltzers, like
Shotgun seltzers.
non-alcoholic seltzers.
Oh, I bet
What's
when
the
he was
goal there?
drinking, he
Acid
was
reflux? Like
he's like, "One thing I miss about drinking is shotgunning beers."
yeah, so
That's
I'm just gonna shotgun the seltzer.
well, because shotgunning a drink is a competitive thing. It's like a display of some sort of masculine coded capability, right? Like, "Look how quickly I can take down this beer."
Yeah, that's how
He
he was, you know he was that kinda drinker. There's a reason this man
100%.
doesn't drink.
It's just bananas how he misfires on this, and poor Marissa is just sitting there looking more and more alarmed and put
Mhm.
off, and he just doesn't notice.
No.
He
He
doesn't
thinks
notice that
he's
he's
like, his
ruining
shit don't
this.
stink. He is
Yeah.
perfect.
He's like, "I took her on the hot tub date, now it's her turn to meet me halfway by doing push-ups." He asks her about why her friends are concerned, and she says that they like him, but they're concerned about the intensity and how focused he is on the one thing that she's not instead of everything she is. And instead of taking even a single moment to reflect on everything she is that he likes, he's like, "Well, but I should focus on the one thing you're not, because that's the one thing that I really want, and you don't have it, and it's the only thing that really matters to me, and I want it."
Ugh.
He's like, "I'm just really trying to lock in even more and get more intense. My diet's doing really well. I'm not having dessert." She's like, "You just had banana ice cream for breakfast 2 weeks ago." This is when the boat pushes him into the lake.
Yeah. He falls. And he loves it though, because he's like, "Let me show you how I get back into the jacuzzi boat intensely."
And then he starts motorboating her and, like, mounting her on the edge of the boat, and she's almost pushing him away. She's like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
like, this is just a lot." He asks her about having kids, and she jokes that they'll have 7 boys. Nightmare, having 7 of
Yeah,
Adam's
he
sons.
that's his ultimate goal.
He clearly loves that.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hell yeah." He jokes that they should just start trying now, and she tells the camera she sort of wishes he could actually be serious sometimes. This is him making a huge effort to have a romantic and chill date with her, and he's spent the whole time focusing on how she's not enough for him, doing competitive, physical, intense activity with her,
Falling
and
off a
joking
boat,
around about
joking
having
about kids.
family.
All he needed was, like, a piece of steak in his mouth, and this would have been peak Adam.
Yeah. Oh my god, will we get to that in this batch? Adam tells the camera that falling in love feels possible. He says it's in the room, which is such a
Yeah,
bachelor coded thing to
yeah. We're not
say.
in a room right now, Adam. We're in a boat in the
Yeah.
open Seattle Sea.
It's somewhere out here over the water with me. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, episode 15. And we're back. So, Michelle and Cam head to meet her aunt who helped raise her and her uncle, who is white. And her aunt shares that this was kind of a hurdle for them because her parents really wanted her to marry a Vietnamese man. And so they set her up with a 24-year-old Vietnamese man for prom instead of her boyfriend and future spouse.
Yes, because 'cause they're like high school sweethearts, and because that's
Yeah.
better, to send your
Yeah.
teenage daughter to prom with a 24-year-old man.
Sounds like their arrival in the US was related to the Vietnam War, and they were immigrants and sort of probably preferred not like people who chose to immigrate just because they really wanted to be here, you know? They wanted to preserve within their family this kind of culture and tradition, and that's very common and normal. But it does mean that her aunt has this outlook on love that's just like against the odds, no matter what people say. Like, if this is the right person for you, even if it's a weird experience going on TV and getting matched at first sight, like, you should fight for that. And so that's really what Michelle and Cam need to hear.
Mhm.
They have some advice for keeping it fun. He says, I chase her around.
They're
And
actually very cute.
they're very cute. They're like, we're more in love than ever.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, I see it."
Yeah, he's like, I want that. I could be more in love than ever in 30 years. Tori and Felipe have a session with Paul, and Tori is boiling over. She tells the camera she does not have time for his little boy games. She came here to marry a man who knows what he wants. Paul dives in by bringing up Tori accusing Felipe of emotional manipulation. And he's like, off the bat, I just basically want to say he's not doing that.
Yeah. He's like, "Do you know what emotional manipulation is? Well, let me spell it out for you."
What did you think of this?
I mean, I think if she feels like she's being manipulated emotionally, then she has a right to say that, where Paul's more like, "These are the correct terms,"
Mm,
or "This is the correct definition of emotional manipulation." I don't know how you felt about it. I mean, what Paul says, I understand his points, but I also understand how Tori's feeling. And I would also feel manipulated by Felipe if I was her.
yeah, I think that I was of two minds. Paul never hesitates to kind of put his opinion out there. He's not like gently guiding things to people. He's more of the blunt intervention, and that's what this is. I do think that these kind of accusations can be a little overused, and like we're all accustomed to being like, "Oh, well my ex is a narcissist and he was gaslighting me and he was emotionally manipulating me." Sometimes it's a little less nefarious even if the effects are bad, even if it's
Mhm.
not a healthy relationship for you. Sometimes it doesn't serve everyone to reach for those labels. If he's not doing anything intentionally, if he's just confused and he's being inconsiderate of how that's affecting her, I do think that's different than emotional manipulation. But of course, it feels invalidating for Paul to basically be like, you don't get
Yeah.
to say that because
Yeah.
I asked Felipe if he's doing this on purpose and he
And
says
he's
no.
not. Yeah.
Case closed. He said no.
But
Like,
it's
okay.
confusing for her to feel like a certain way and feel she's being, I don't know,
Yeah.
told one thing and then he's doing another, or he's saying, "I want to be with you, but I also want to be with all these women." But Paul's right in saying, like, don't use that so lightly. It's more of
Yeah.
a, here, let me explain what you're actually feeling as a therapist.
I also felt like it was a little bit of propaganda for the show to say, well, it's if it were emotional manipulation, we would immediately remove you from the experiment.
Mm.
But it's not, so you can stay. Would they?
No, like they would
I don't think
not.
so. Like, come
No.
on. We've
Yeah.
seen some of these people treat each other really badly.
Mhm.
I
There's
don't
been a
know.
lot of manipulation happening.
The emotional manipulation is the show. So
Mm.
I don't buy that for a second. This is just an opportunity for him to be like, don't make us look like we're putting you in a dangerous
Yeah.
situation. We're not. We wouldn't allow that. Okay, sure. Felipe says he's worried he's going to lose Tori because he's indecisive. And Paul says, well, you're trying to close the distance that's growing between you because, she's pulling away. You're reaching out trying to close that. That's probably what's confusing Tori. And he diagnoses Felipe as definitively trying, but not definitively in. I don't know if that's helpful,
I'm
a
like,
helpful
"What?"
distinction. And this next bit of the conversation is a breakthrough for Felipe in the moment, but will make him such a target at the group dinner
Mm.
because Paul is trying to coach Felipe to get comfortable saying that he's all in when Felipe is fixated on the possibility that his feelings could change in the future. He's like, no one knows the future, right? You only know how you feel right now. That's all anyone knows, right, Felipe? And Felipe's like, yeah. And every day since I've met Tori, I've wanted to be with Tori. Oh my
Oh
God,
god, a
I'm doing
revelation.
it. Tori looks completely unmoved by this. Felipe's like, I'm in this moment. I'm fully in. And she's like, okay.
Yeah, prove it.
Yeah, she's like, this has been reframed as a success, but it still sounds like you are promising me nothing beyond this moment."
Yeah, Tori has fully, like, given up on Felipe.
Yeah,
In my
she's
opinion, they started off pretty strong, like,
they did.
but it's hard to recover once, the person you're married to is like, "I wanna be with anyone else,
Yeah, I'm just
but I'm
thinking
gonna
about
try to stick it out with you."
thinking about all the hotties who are gonna roll through my Italian restaurant.
Drinking their espresso martinis.
They're gonna have lots of energy and also they're gonna be a little loosened up. Adam and Marissa are out on their little balcony making out. And so we see they still have that fun social playmate vibe between them. He puts his foot on her chair and recalls that at their wedding, he thought, damn, she's kind of bad, low key. She says that when he kissed her at the altar, she knew they were full sending it.
I think she's just
Marissa,
joking at this point with him. She's just like, "Yeah, we're full sending."
I also think that his language is infecting people.
Yes. I mean, they're all using it.
They're
Like, all the
all
guys are using it.
they're all saying cooked, they're all
Mhm.
saying vibes, they're all saying full send. He is sitting there at their dinner table on the balcony, holding a T-bone steak in his hand and ripping pink meat off the bone with his
Oh,
teeth.
my god. He did this on the honeymoon too. Like, and then it's not just the bone. He picks up, like, pieces of it, and he just chews it, and he rips it, and he's holding it.
Right, on the honeymoon, I thought maybe this was a brief aberration, like, he picked up a chunk to like, fed it to her and then ate it. It seems like he just picked up that steak, it came out whole, and he picked up the whole
Mhm.
steak like it was a wing, like a chicken wing or a drumstick. He just picked up the T-bone steak and ate it
Like,
until it was nothing
gnawing
but
at
bone
it.
and gristle
Ugh.
or like, ribs. Like, Adam, a T-bone steak is not a hand's food.
I think he's just a hands guy. Like, he just eats it's just the way he eats is really icky.
It's the intensity, he's full sending dinner.
Yeah, let's talk about masculine.
Do you think he does this in front of his family, though? I really get the
Did they
impression
raise him this way?
I think some of this is a little bit of rebellion. Like, my family expected me to be so proper, I had to play piano for an hour a day. Now I'm just like, I don't know, I don't give a fuck. I'm, like, so manly and intense, and I just, like, play pickleball, and I rip meat off the bone with I bet when he's at dinner with his family, he uses a steak knife, that's all
Yeah,
I'm
and probably
saying,
dresses in normal attire.
right?
Yes, he really is, like, just rebelling. He's like,
Yeah.
"Look at me, I'm free. I'm free of, like, the constraints of my family."
Yeah. There is something a little bit Maha coded about him too, and I think we've touched on this because he got very into the whole, like, "I never drink because of the inflammation giving you
Mhm,
cancer."
mhm.
Um, there and when he saw that she had, like, a tiny shot of alcohol that she gave him, he was like, "Basically, her body's full of inflammation and
Yeah,
she's gonna die."
poison.
But this too, like, the whole, like, sort of approach that he takes to something like eating a steak feels very much like this sort of, like, carnivore diet, like, back to the earth, like, the most natural way of eating is to simply cram an entire steak into your mouth with your
It's like a
hands.
dinosaur. He's prehistoric, like, and she's sitting there just like,
She looks ill, and he asks her what gives her the ick about him, and she says, "Eating food with your
yeah,
hands."
like this exact situation.
I love her honesty, and he says, "Oh, well, what about other than food?" "No, oh, right, I'll work on that."
Yeah. Anything else?
Anything, like, that actually matters, and she says that she gets the ick from his intensity for things, that every day is a new fixation. She says it takes the wind out of her sails. He seems shocked by this, which is truly difficult to comprehend because she has expressed this to him so
So
many
many
times.
times. He's just like, "I don't get how a woman doesn't wanna be with, like, the most intense man she's ever met." Like, I put my all, my A game into everything I do, and that's pickleball, jet skiing, and eating this steak. How could you be disgusted by this?
He's like Miranda Priestley at the end of The Devil Wears Prada. He's like, "Don't be ridiculous, Marissa. Everybody wants this. Everybody wants to be us."
Everybody wants this man.
They see us riding the jet ski with steak dripping from our teeth. headed to pickleball. They want that. They want to be us. I think she's trying to get at here something that he has not made space for in his brain, which is that he has such intensity and so much that he expects and wants from their time together that she's not able to get any momentum up regarding her own interests.
Mhm.
Like, he's taking all of her own drive and her own passion away and, like, redirecting it because he's taking up all the air in the relationship with his own goals and ambitions, and she's kinda said this to her friends, and she's trying to say it here, like, "It takes the wind out of my sails," and he's just like, "It doesn't compute. What could be more wind in your sails than me frantically blowing you towards pickleball? Like, I am
Yeah.
just, like, providing you with a jet stream of air towards the most important thing in life, which is pickleball."
Ugh, but you
She's
can't
like
read anymore. I haven't
right,
even
she's
seen
like
her pick up a book.
I know. I think she's forgotten how to read by now.
Full
It's sad,
send.
really. She's she's she is to full send literacy again. Adam says he has no real reservations. Of course, because she's molding herself to
Yeah.
him. Except she's not quite as into sports as he is, but he likes that she's doing more sports. And she says, activities. Adult women don't really play sports. Marissa, what are you talking about?
Yeah, there's, like, whole women who play sports as their professional careers.
There are, have you heard of the WNBA,
Yeah.
Marissa? Also, there isn't some rule that once you turn 21, tennis is no longer a sport. Now it's an activity. It's
Yeah.
still a
Like, is
sport.
swimming not a sport?
Swimming is a sport. You can play all kinds of sports as an adult woman, and you're not really I'm rooting for you, Marissa, but you're not helping the situation. She says that for her to say yes, she'd need to see that he could meet her in the middle. Good fucking luck, because
Yeah, I'm
this is
like,
him meeting you in the middle, and he fucking sucks at it.
no way is he meeting you anywhere,
He
but on
will
the
meet
pickleball
you
court.
he will meet you in a non-pickleball location, and he will somehow turn that into the exact same thing you hate about
Mhm.
pickleball. That's him
Mhm.
meeting you in the middle. He's somehow eating steak in a weirdly overly physical and athletic feeling way. Like,
God, it's so gross.
uh, Shawn and Nikki have a much more romantic and pleasant date. They go to a wine and chocolate bar. She's so happy. These are her favorite things. And he suggests that as an activity, they relate something from the description of their wine to something in their own life, like a little conversation starter. She says that her red wine tastes like a peppermint patty, which is I
What?
what?
I've never had a pepperminty wine.
Is that like one of those notes that I don't understand because I'm not a wine
Oh, you mean you don't
expert?
drink your wine like Sean gargles
I
his?
don't gargle it. I don't I've never been
Maybe we'd
instructed
get the
by a
full
winery.
peppermint if we really got it.
I do swirl. I do a swirl,
Mhm.
to open up the nose bouquet or something. But I've never picked up on peppermint patty from a wine. But she loves peppermint patties. And she's also reminded of Girl Scout cookies. I was like, "Are these dessert wines? Why did they keep reminding you of cookies?" She only eats the shortbread Girl Scout cookies and weirdly not Thin Mints,
Yeah,
which
I'm like,
are
so pepperminty.
right, it's like a peppermint patty and a cookie. They Lady and the Tramp some chocolate, which she doesn't look into, but she does love the date and it's helping her feel Shawn a little bit more. So that night, they do Shawn's favorite thing and get into some bathrobes and make out in a bathrobe.
Oh my god.
They retreat to the bedroom, and then the door opens and Shawn comes out with his bathrobe open.
Fully open, and he's, like, skipping. He's like,
This felt mean on the part of the editors. He's in his home, you know? Why are
Yeah,
they airing the spy cam footage of him with his bathrobe open?
just full ween out.
I would feel so betrayed.
Ah.
Nikki tells the camera that they, quote, did have a physical encounter that was more of a sexual flavor.
That whole sentence you just said, no, no. A physical
She's
encounter that was more of a sexual flavor.
It seems like she's trying to describe this in a way that would be on an HR report.
Yes,
Like
their
she's
couple is just they're living in the boardroom, as you said.
right, she's like she's doing her conversations, she's filling out the report for the investigation so that a decision can be made about his employment
They're
future at the
cosplaying,
company.
like, they're fully just
Yeah, it's, I think that actually she is in human resources, so it makes sense that she has that vocabulary very at the ready, but, very strange in this situation.
but then he responds too, and
Yeah,
he says, "It was a good advancement in the right direction."
2 corporate hearts
2
that beat
2
as one.
academics just
Yeah. They're definitely, as we've said before, more accustomed to being in boardroom meetings than they are accustomed
to
to
being in bedrooms.
being in bedrooms. But Nikki does say that they are sexually compatible, and she actually seems, like, kind of flustered in a good way, like, she's surprised
Mhm.
at how well things went,
He
so
did mention that he's been working on his skills ever since he lost
I'm
his virginity, you know?
I'm getting the sense that maybe she had a happy ending.
Mhm. She had
She
something. And then he brings her a glass of sh wine or champagne or something, as he does a lot.
he's
That's her
he's
thing.
keeping her a little
Yeah,
tipsy.
that's their thing. They always have, like, Veuve open or just but clearly,
Yeah.
she asked for some champagne, so
Yeah, so she's like, "We've got so many things going in our direction, sexually compatible now, we can add to the list, but can we have the romantic love that we would need for a marriage?" Caitlin and Devin meet her dad at a pub, and she points out that her dad always yells at her for taking his tater tots, and she's like, "That's why I never share." She says she has to guard her food from Devin. Her dad says that when Caitlin's in a good mood, that's fun, but if she's grumpy or pouty, Devin has to take her for a coffee or a walk and kind of not let her dwell in the bad mood.
like a dog. Like, what?
It was sort of fun. It's
When
like,
he
"Take her for
said
a
this, it's like,
walk."
"Just take her out for a walk." Like, she just needs a good walk around the block.
That is exactly what Michelle did to
I
Cam earlier.
know. Mhm.
Um, she jokingly complains that he's so self-aware that he takes her points from her in arguments. She also brought this up in therapy.
Mhm.
Like, this is she has a little, like, routine about it. Like, "Oh, like, he's already thought of it." And it's like, "You're so self-aware, but also
You stole my
you took my
point.
point." And she admits that she is working on herself and being less independent or, like, sort of being more aware that she is in a couple now. And so she's working on telling him she's leaving the house.
Yeah, I love that. Like, "Hey, I'm heading out. Just in case you wanted to know. Have a good
Yeah.
one."
Her dad says that marriage is all about sacrifice. You do things to make each other happy. He'd rather shoot himself in the head than go to boutiques with Caitlin's mom, but he does it to make her happy and it brings him joy. So I guess he wouldn't rather shoot himself in the head. Devin went to the Taylor Swift movie with Caitlin, apparently, and they all joke that she's holding a gun up to his head so that he'll say he liked it. I hate all of this.
Yeah.
The Caitlin and Devin thing has really devolved into like women be shopping, men be
Be
sportsin',
shooting.
men be shooting.
Men be shooting, like, 2 instances of, like, I'd rather, you know, put a gun
Yeah,
to my head than go see Taylor Swift's tour concert or go to a
it's
little trinket shop with women. God, these women. Like
it's interesting because in many ways it is the case that like Devin seems much more interested in time together and sharing her interests and like paying attention to her interests than vice versa. And yet the way that everyone still talks about it is like, "Oh my god, what a sacrifice for a man
mhm.
to do something female coded. That's so hard. Like he must have hated every minute." And it's almost like that is a way to, like, reaffirm his masculinity. It's like, "Yeah, I'm clingy. Yeah, I need my wife around all the time to, like, cuddle me, but I hate Taylor Swift, but,
Yeah,
like, I just do it because she wants me to, I
yeah.
guess, because you
"Look, I'm a big
gotta."
tough man."
I wish I could be self-harming right now, but I guess I'll do it to make her happy. Like, it feels like a way to, like, burnish his masculinity.
Yeah, it's so
And her
bad.
dad does the same thing. It's like, I'm sorry, what's so bad about going to a boutique? Do you know how many football games these women have probably sat
Oh
through?
my god, too many.
Felipe and Tori go to a sauna on the water and kiss. Everything in Seattle is on the water, and it does look really beautiful. They put on bathrobes and have wine by the water afterwards. Sean is watching this back and he's like, "Ooh,
Yeah, I should have thought of that,
bathrobe, you say?"
babe. Sauna on a boat?
Mm. Tori seems to be softening that because Felipe is like showing that he's choosing her by planning this lavish date. She tells him that he has said that was worried about overwhelming her with emotion, but she actually needs to hear how he feels in order to feel safe. Unless how he feels is, I feel that I miss having sex with lots of women. But he tells her some romantic things. He says, I still feel the same spark as I felt at the altar. And to kind of recapture that moment, I brought a gift, and it's a frame photo of their first kiss. They got to get back to the good old
Those
days
good
of
old days 3 weeks ago, you know?
yeah. We could get back to that couple that had just met
That
but thought each other was hot.
mhm,
He has to finish chewing his prosciutto so he can kiss her,
mm,
and she waits patiently. That's love in action.
that is Paul must be like,
It's time for the last group dinner, and as they get ready, Cam tells Michelle that a lot of the couples shouldn't be getting married.
Cam is just like us.
Yeah, well, this is last week I really appreciated his insights, and now I'm like, "All right, Cam,
Yeah,
like,
he's getting a
you
little, like, preachy. He's like,
getting a little high."
"Listen, I am now running the show. I am also a therapist, and
Right.
let me tell you, these couples, they're not making it out of here."
You can't switch back and forth between saying you're worried that the passion is going to die and you won't like being married anymore, to being like, "These other couples, they're a mess. I wanna point to each of them and look them in the eye and say, 'You're out of here.'" Like, worry about
Coach
keeping your own
Cam.
worry about
Coach
your own
Cam.
house. Yes, coaching. He's more focused on coaching other people than on his own situation, so that yeah, maybe that's a learned skill. But Michelle agrees. Michelle also likes pointing out where the other couples are failing.
Mhm.
She says that the others are bullshitting them. Pride goeth before a fall, my friends. We shall see. So at the group dinner, a few first impressions. Adam always wears a kimono to the group dinner. This one is a sort of bright blue abstract pattern. Paul says that he wants to make a statement. Very telling that when Paul was going to be present, Adam wore sweatshorts,
Yeah.
and he's back to the kimonos
He's like,
now.
"They're not watching us, are they?" Back to my
He's not going to call me out to my face. Dr. Lisa loves that Mecca and Belle have a coordinated look because she loves couples that look hot together.
mhm.
Finally, it must be noted that they are all saying cooked constantly now. It's almost impossible to follow the first portion of this scene because they're all just throwing around the word cooked.
We're just cooked. We're cooked. We
Yeah, I
cooked
think
dinner last night. We cooked each other. I'm cooked. You're cooked.
I think you're cooked for sure, but like maybe we're cooked too. Like everyone's just cooked. Michelle gets everyone's attention because she's eager to kick off the gossip. And the experts point out that this is easy when you have no drama in your relationship. Adam and Marissa are first. They talk about how they're trying to find balance in the intensity. And Adam says it's hard to tell if he'll be satisfied, but they're going to give it their best shot. Nikki asks why it's important for him to share hobbies, and he again brings up his ex and how optimal it is to be vibing to the max together.
Always the X.
Caitlin says she's never seen a successful couple that was that aligned on hobbies, and he says, "You should have met my ex girlfriend, I guess."
And they were all like, "Oh."
Oh, I was like, I'm sorry, Adam. She said successful
Yeah. So
couples.
why
And
aren't you together? Like, what
yeah,
happened there?
sounds like you should have married her, but you didn't. So interesting. Why don't you tell us what
Yeah, why
happened?
didn't you full send that one?
Sean asks if his parents talk like him, and they don't. And Sean's ready to do his big one here.
Yeah.
He says, "Look, I don't think there's anything wrong with you." But sometimes when people just keep talking about ripping it or vibes, it's because they don't have the vocabulary or emotional intelligence to say what they feel. Adam is so affronted. He has such a big reaction. Before Sean's even finished his sentence, he's like, "So you're calling me low IQ?"
Yeah. He's like, "Crazy, crazy intro. Crazy intro to say there's nothing wrong with me."
"You're calling me low IQ." And Sean says, "No, I said EQ, but like that's just my experience that maybe this could be the case." And Adam says, "I would love to do an IQ test."
There's Adam again. The Adam we first met in episode
Ugh.
1 that's just like, "And I play the piano,
I know.
and I have a lake house, and I'm smart, and I'm" ugh.
It was hard not to feel that bringing up an IQ test in this moment was a little microaggressive at best. Like, the implication is I would beat you in an IQ test,
Yeah.
and that is not even a dog whistle. Like, that's a wild thing to say to a black man who is offering you a very measured criticism
Very
on
truthful
and
criticism.
truthful,
He might
extremely
have said it
truthful.
in his Shawn way, but that's true.
There's a way that Adam reacts to criticism. Like, earlier, I was like, maybe it's because these are the people who are really clocking him and getting under his skin. But I think it's also notable that it's Paul and Sean
Mhm.
that he has this sort of petulant, affronted, "How dare you" reaction to criticism from.
Yeah, and I'll show you.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, you think you can speak to me that way?" Like, it colors his attitude the whole rest of the dinner, and the fact that it happened with Paul and Sean is now, like, really pinging something for me,
Yes.
and I'm
Yeah.
wondering
It's
if he feels
obvious.
like they're overstepping more than he would if it were someone white who
Yeah, and
was
but now too, he
questioning
adds
him.
the layer of, like, not only, that they're 2 black men, but that he's competitive now. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you wanna try to beat me?
Yeah.
I'll full send it. You know my vibes."
My
Like,
god. Sean tries to steady the ship. I think he wasn't expecting quite such a big reaction. And he says, if my friends are using words to shortcut describing their emotions, I would try to make them describe what they're really feeling. And I'm sure you're a genius academically, but it feels like maybe you've created a character to avoid talking about your emotions. Vibes can't describe everything. I think Sean is like, I can't believe I'm on Sean's side. He is so dead on. This is
mhm.
absolutely Adam to a T. He does he does the outfits, the jokes, the cliche, the like trendy little cliche slang. All of those are ways of glossing over what's actually going on,
Mhm.
which he is not comfortable sitting with. And Adam says he has a robust vocab, but he finds these words more optimal.
Oh my god. Even the fact that he's like, "I got a robust vocab." He can't even say vocabulary. He can't even say the full word.
But he used robust, and that's an SAT word, I
But
think we
he's
can
like,
all agree.
"Listen, my language, that's optimal. I work at a high
Yeah.
intensity level. I've hand selected these phrases and words for my vocab. Okay?"
I I think that Adam is there a better way Sean could have approached this? Probably. Does Adam get his back up and just get very defensive? Absolutely. But this is just so dumb to me. Like, it's just so obvious that it's easy and requires less thought to just use the I do the same thing. Sometimes I sit back and I think, "Wow, I've been using the word vibes a lot or
Mhm.
vibe or energy." Like, why I used to survive without those words at all. How would I have articulated my point without those words? They can become crutches if you take the sort of catch-all term and you just start invoking it whenever you're having a hard time articulating something. And he can't even admit that. He's like, "It's just a better word." And what he means by a better word is that he can just use it for everything.
Yes, it fits everything. And
Yeah.
his friend circle, clearly, they all talk the same. So, if you're not
Yeah.
gonna, like, surround yourself with new people or a
Yeah.
thesaurus, then you're gonna be in trouble, Adam.
And I do think it's a bit of a persona too. Like, he likes that it makes him come off as, like, in his mind, I think, like, cool, chill, like the
He's
kind
the
of guy who
least
talks
chill
like
person,
this.
though, that's the
Yeah.
thing, is, like, he tries to dress that way or act that way, but inside, he is just, like, wound so tight.
Yeah,
Him and
he's
Courtney.
seething. Yeah, he's got more in common with Courtney than he'd like to admit. He is practically shaking with rage in his confessional afterwards, which I think was filmed after the entire
I
dinner.
know, I'm like, "He was still that angry?"
He's ranting that he's been nothing but incredibly nice to Shawn. Shawn's own relationship is in a complete shambles, and it's embarrassing to be acquainted with Shawn and Nikki when they're having such childish fights at their age. And I was like, wow, you just threw like 15 shots. You're
Yeah.
embarrassed to be acquainted with them at their age?
Yeah.
Like,
No.
I found this deeply off, but he's like, you accurately perceived something about me, and now I'm gonna take like 15 cheap shots at you.
And meanwhile, I have to say Nikki and Shawn have been really, like, doing better in their partnership. Like, they've taken it slow, they've kind of, like, worked it out, and he's, like, insulting them in their childish fights. I'm like, "You are fighting with Marissa over playing pickleball 7 times a week. How is that not childish?"
Right, speaking of childish conflicts, I'm worried you're not gonna wanna play pickleball enough for me, okay?
Oh god.
That's very
Yeah,
mature.
Marissa wants to be anywhere else when he's
She does try to defend him, she's like, "I think that he can express himself well about his feelings," and Shawn is like, "Okay," but
Yeah,
she does not look like she is enjoying being in
no.
a couple with Adam right now. Cam and Michelle are next, and he just talks about how Michelle lifted him up on a bad day, and they're all like, "Yay, you guys are the best, we love you." Mecca and Belle are next, and this also goes well. He
Yeah.
says the connection is getting deeper even though they aren't in love yet, and they've both decided that they will say yes.
And I wish they would stop there,
Yeah.
but more is to come.
Shawn says that he is also getting closer and closer to yes. Everyone, especially Adam, looks visibly unconvinced. Adam actually scoffs. And when Adam says they had a nice time vibing on the terrace, Adam says, "You can't say that word."
He is so petty and such a little baby.
He's-
He's like, "You attack me, I'm gonna attack you. You just say my word? Did you just say vibes?
oh,
You
you
better
said
watch your
vibes.
back."
Sean is trying to describe how well things are going, and finally Adam jumps in because he's clearly so eager to put Sean in his place. He can't restrain himself any longer. He says that Nikki and Sean were really struggling for like 10 days, and then suddenly, overnight after therapy, it was perfect. But he can't help but notice that they're still sitting really far apart. And Sean says there are partitions under the table, and Adam says, "How convenient." But I haven't seen any intimacy or love between you.
Just partitions. Just
Oh,
physical partition.
how convenient. The partition that you wanted to be there
Yeah.
actually is there. How
You picked those
convenient.
seats, didn't you? So you didn't need to sit near each other.
They should roll the open the open bathrobe footage. Michelle agrees and says she hasn't seen romantic vibes based off of body language. But Nikki agrees with Sean. She says that they're having healthier interactions and that's accelerating their ability to connect with one another. Michelle looks visibly disappointed. Nikki says their intimate encounter that they had recently was very nice, and again seems like a little flustered as she says it.
It's so good though. It's like she's so work toned and
I
any which is like, oh my gosh, our physical encounter, it was really actually very
It's
nice.
actually very nice. I really can't tell how much of their sort of bloodless vibe is because they are both very composed and accustomed to having this sort of um, poised and business-like professional bearing in public, and how much of it is that she is checking off the boxes, doing her best to complete the assignment, but she just cannot feel anything for him.
Yeah.
And I think everyone else is trying to figure this out too, but they all seem so desperate to kind of out them as
I know,
faking.
they really want them to break up, which is like they're the only couple that nobody's like rooting for. They're just like, we could care less about these 2.
They all decided that they should break up at the first group dinner, and they're angry that they're in their perception, faking their way through the rest of the experience. They want them to get, like, caught and
But
exposed.
they've just been they're different, like, they started off tense and had problems, and now they've, like, worked through it, and they're at a better place, where everyone else was, like, started off in, like, a honeymoon stage, and we're
Yeah.
happy and, like, flirty, and then it all went downhill, like
It all
Adam
went
and
to shit.
Marissa. Like,
I at this point, I think I would maybe rather be in the Nikki and Shawn relationship than the Anna and Marissa
Claire, that
one.
is a statement. Are
I
you
know.
sure? The
God,
ro
Adam is
see? I knew you'd
so
be a robe girl.
awful. Listen, I've been married for almost a decade. I've seen worse than a bathrobe. Uh, respectfully. We've all had the norovirus at the same time
Yeah, we've
3
seen a
times.
lot. Yeah, we've seen a lot.
Mecca says that he doesn't see Nikki's attraction to Shawn, and she says that it's growing. And Mecca says, "Well, I get it because I wasn't attracted to Belle when we first met."
Oh my god.
You you guys gotta stop dropping these at the dinner table with everyone else,
Yeah, and
because
it's
that
so Me why does Mecca do this? Why does he always choose this setting to, like, insult Belle? And,
yeah,
like, deep cuts.
right. That would be devastating. She looks shocked. She has never heard this before. She sort of quietly, as the conversation continues, asks him what he means, and he says, "Well, I thought you were pretty. Pretty girl." You know? I said, "Okay, she's pretty. Pretty enough for me?" And then he pauses and shakes his head with a
Yeah.
sort of funny look on his face. Like, this is all like a goofy little
You're to the girl that you're
anecdote.
saying not pretty enough for you. You're literally telling her, "You know, you're pretty, but not pretty enough for me." You know what I'm saying, babe? Yeah. What?
Like, I'm just like, "Isn't that funny that I thought that? What are you doing?" This is, like, such a hurtful thing to say to someone. It doesn't need to be said if it's been moved past, but if you do wanna express it to her, maybe consider her feelings in the smallest way about how you deliver this
Or,
information.
like, talk about it when you guys were all on I mean, this is such a sensitive topic for her in general because there was a whole attractive level thing, like, "Oh, I don't find you as attractive as you find me." And this is just proving the point that you never did find her as attractive, like, and you're just
Right.
reiterating that, and
But
she's trying to get over that.
she thought that she found him more attractive. Now and that was hard enough. And now it turns out that he wasn't attracted to her at all.
Ugh.
It reminds me of Felipe revealing that he thinks he's gonna miss having sex with other women at the table. Like, to drop a bomb like this in front of everyone seems like almost an intentional decision to sexually humiliate your partner.
Yeah, it was so gross. And it's like everybody else, I can't remember their reactions, but I feel like they assumed that Belle maybe knew that
Right,
this was a thing, where she was, like, absolutely caught off guard.
and it seems like next week that's gonna snowball into a much bigger
As it
issue
should, like, that
as
would
it
bother me
should,
so deeply if somebody said, "Nope, I
because
never found you attractive.
it's
I'm
not
still working
just
on it."
and it's not just the reality of it, it's everyone's allowed their feelings, but every time he has spoken to her about it, he has been really inconsiderate and insensitive to her feelings around it, whereas he needs his own ego to be
Mhm,
coddled.
mhm,
This was wild. She tells the camera that he doesn't really think about how to say things. It was a slap in the face and disrespectful.
mhm.
I don't know if he's just really careless or again, if this is a way for him to try to like reassert dominance in the situation and be like, I'm the one who is desired. I'm the one who has the power in this
Yeah, but
dynamic.
it was so weird because it wasn't even, like, their time up to talk,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? He, like, chimed in.
And for what? So he could
Yeah,
agree with Nikki? To what
the
end?
couple that you want to break up, like,
Right. I don't know.
yeah.
Uh, Devin and Caitlin are next, and Devin says that things are headed in a good direction. Caitlin says they're talking about bringing romance into it. She's pulled back physical intimacy since Cancun because she wants to feel totally safe and comfortable in it. Felipe, looking sweaty and leaning over his plate, asks Devin if he's feeling confident, and Devin says something vague about how he'd need to have a sense of what marriage would look like in the future. And Felipe, looking gleeful, says, "So if nothing advances there, it's a no." Caitlin tells Devin to be careful in how he answers, and Felipe, hunched over his plate like a gremlin, says he wouldn't stay married if he hadn't had sex first.
Oh my god, Felipe.
He has big, creepy uncle energy in this
Mhm.
scene.
Mhm.
He You can just imagine him with a little more gray in his mustache and a little less hair, comporting himself like this at a family holiday dinner.
Yeah, he's that uncle that everybody's like, "Ugh, I gotta sit next to
Yeah.
Uncle Felipe."
Yeah, he's gonna ask me if I'm dating any nice boys at my middle
Yeah,
school again.
if I had any good sex lately at the age of 13.
Like, there's just something so unsettling about the glee, like, the impish glee that he's
Yeah, and his
displaying.
posture, like, yeah.
Like, he's really excited to get Devin to admit that he just really needs to have sex. He's really excited to sort of publicly pressure this woman he barely knows to fuck her husband.
Mhm.
It's so inappropriate and grotesque. And Adam chimes in and asks if Felipe is even ready to be married. I was like, I can't believe I'm appreciating Adam's intervention. Michelle says she wouldn't stay married to someone she hadn't hooked up with, and half the table agrees. Caitlin is feeling really defensive. She says it's childish to say that you'd break up just because you haven't fucked. And Devin agrees and says it's deeper. Sex is important, but it can also be worked on. Then he says you do need to kind of want to do the same things or you might look for it elsewhere. Caitlin hates this.
Yeah.
She also has this way of assessing things in the moment where instead of saying, like, "Oh, what do you mean by that?" Or, like, "That doesn't feel good to hear because I've been cheated on," she'll say, like, "I hate that comment," or, like, "Be
Yeah.
careful about how you answer this." Like, it feels like more about grading his
Mhm.
statements,
Then
which I don't like.
understanding why he's saying it, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's almost like a way of, like, controlling what he says by being like, "Careful, better say something I like."
Mhm.
"Oh, you got a C minus on that statement. So let's see if you can pull it up with an extra credit assignment." She says this is an insane thing to throw out there. Devin agrees. He's like, "That's my bad." But everyone else leaps to his defense. Mecca asks why he can't say that. If you've got it in that area, why would it matter? First of all,
Ugh,
ew. And
Mecca,
also, like, so is the implication that, like, she needs to be so good at sex that he is
he
always happy or
stays,
she
yeah.
deserves to be cheated on? This is, like, such a common mindset about women who are cheated on that, like, "Oh, you didn't sexually satisfy him because 'cause you're
Yeah.
not good
So
in
he had
bed
to
or
go
you're frigid."
elsewhere. Yeah, he
Yeah.
had to look for it anywhere else.
Caitlin says it's a piss poor mentality and she's been cheated on several times. And when Mecca hears that, he's like, "Oh, got it. Okay, understood." It's like, "Well, yeah, like, what?"
Yeah, of course she's gonna be defensive because 'cause she's been the person
And,
who's
like,
been cheated on, like, she knows how
lots
it
of
feels.
people have. So, like, of course, there are a lot it's quite obvious why someone might have an issue with
Not
hearing
Mecca.
that.
Mecca's like, "I have never been cheated on. I might have been the cheater." Like,
I don't get the sense that Mecca has not had a lot of, like, in-depth relationship
no.
experience, right? He's like, "I've never been in love." Um, but Devin keeps trying to say, "I didn't mean it that way. I was just making a general comment about compatibility. I wouldn't cheat." And she's like, "Don't say sorry. Just say sorry. Don't justify the comment. You don't need to do that." The experts are kind of pointing out from their spy spot. They're like, "Well, she's not really understanding him here. He's just saying that sexual compatibility is important. He's not saying that gives you a license to cheat." But that's the whole Caitlyn issue here again. She's just grading his responses.
Mhm.
She's not trying to connect. Felipe keeps going for his original answer. He's like, "I still don't know if you need to fuck Caitlyn." And finally, Devin says there are things other than sex that could make him sure about staying married. And Caitlyn says, "You've recovered your fumble."
In football terms, just so he can get it.
Exactly. Devin closes it out with a "fuck you, Felipe." It seems like everyone is sort of like half jokingly and half seriously,
Yeah,
"Felipe, you suck." And
yeah.
if I were Felipe, I'd be starting to wonder if they really hate me, but it doesn't seem to phase
No, he's like, "Yeah, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, fuck me."
him. Felipe is next, and he says he's realized that what matters most is that he has only wanted to be with Tori every day since he's met her. So he's all in at this moment. And Mecca says, "Today, right
Yeah,
now, you're all in."
'cause, yeah, 2 days ago, you were not. You were not all in.
And Adam is again very suspicious of a sudden therapy revelation that makes everything perfect. He's like, "Therapy doesn't do anything for me. So I don't believe
I'm
that
not
it's
changing. Yeah,
actually."
I don't change for anyone.
I go to therapy and what I hear is sort of like what Charlie Brown hears from the teacher. It's just like, wah, 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 wah. And you're telling me you guys have made positive changes based on things they've said to you?
Yeah, bullshit.
Felipe says he wasn't really torn about how much he wanted to sleep with other women. He was just worried about the future and whether they'd have a good marriage. And all the guys are like, "Come on, please. You expect us to buy that?"
He sure does.
Adam calls him a clown and is like, "If my spouse was talking like Felipe, I'd be done. Tori, I don't know how you're still with him." And Tori says, "Well, I did almost leave. I was really one foot out the door." I think it's interesting that the guys do not buy this at all. Like, none of them. They all think it's laughable. And I feel like maybe it's just because they met him before the marriage and he already sounded like someone who was
Mhm.
not prepared to give up dating other women. And so they've all just been waiting for him to fall, yeah. But also maybe there's a little bit of like, well, we all know this kinda guy.
Yeah.
As men, we all know this kinda guy,
And he
and we
admitted it, so they're like, "We got you. We have you caught in a
right.
corner."
But I think this is something that men will sometimes use as, "Oh, well, I was just scared of how much I like you," you know? Other men know that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I would use the same line, it's not true. Adam tries to relitigate the details of what Felipe originally said, and Mecca says that the mistake is not what Felipe said. It was not telling her beforehand. I think it's both.
Yeah, I'm like, it's both pretty bad.
Cam says it's neither. The question is, did it change? That's what matters. But the thing is, if it changed, no one would believe him.
Yeah. But he just had this revelation now, he's like, "Nope, I'm all
Yeah.
in."
He says, "Well, I'm sure that I want to be with her now. I can't see the future." And this is what Paul told him was what everyone was thinking. And everyone else is like, "Nope, we can see the future. We are different from you."
But also crazy to even admit that, like, I mean, for now, but in the future,
Yeah.
we'll see, but for now, I'm in.
I mean, this is the thing that I think maybe Paul is trying to walk him towards is you're not different than everyone else when you're afraid that things could change in the future because no one knows what comes in the future. But that does not prevent many people from feeling a confidence that their feelings will last and that they will motivate them to work on preserving their relationship. And so there is a distinction between I'm all in now and I'm all in and I'm committed to doing the work and fostering that connection forever. Like he's just sort of like, "Oh, I guess I just like every day I wake up and hopefully I still feel this way." That's what
Yeah.
everyone's doing, right? There's still like a piece missing that
Yeah.
everyone's picking up on. Michelle says that Felipe signed up for dating at first sight instead of married at first sight, and she asks if Tori's good being married to someone like that. And Tori says, hard no. She needs him to decide because wishy-washiness is not attractive. Dr. Lisa is so impressed that Tori made a decision. Yay.
Yay, Tori.
But it's the kind of decision that's like, I'm not okay with this, and he needs to stop
Yeah.
in the
He
future.
needs to take me to another sauna
Yeah.
and give me another picture from our wedding, and then maybe I'll
Yeah.
reconsider my hard no.
In practice, like, this is the same thing as not making a decision. Mecca says that he thinks Felipe's emotions for Tori are fleeting. We see a confessional of Tori and Felipe after the group dinner, and Felipe is whining that she never defended him, never pointed out that he's changed. Partnership means defending your partner, especially when the others are saying things that you know aren't true. So now he's aggrieved that Tori hung him out to dry. Tori's just looking at the camera, speechless.
Yeah, it's just like
She's like, I don't even know what to say to that. They're doomed.
yeah, real doomed.
Cameron finally levels his diagnosis. As a 37-year-old basketball coach who has never been in a successful relationship, the whole other side of the table, which is Devin and Caitlin, Nikki and Shawn, and Tori and Felipe, should not be married. Bomb thrown. Everyone's like, oh my God. I agree. It's shocking. Everyone knows the whole table shouldn't be married.
Yeah.
Like, you're sitting here on the same side as Adam and Marissa and
I'm
Mecca
like,
and
what about
Belle.
them? What about the L? Just go around. A nice J would have worked. Cam.
Yeah. Listen, Cam, if you believe in you and Michelle, I'm willing to get on board, but we all know that at least all the rest of the couples
Yeah.
should not be married.
And listen, I had hope for Mecca and Belle, and Mecca just freaking tossed her like a frisbee.
No. That's the thing that it gets frustrating about some of these couples is you see men make these missteps, or sometimes women. I'm going to be magnanimous. And they're like, I've learned, I'll change. And you say, oh, maybe they're growing. And then they turn around and do the same bullshit,
Mhm.
cruel, selfish thing that they did before. And they don't even seem to notice that they're doing it. It's like, I can't work with this. Like, who
No.
can work with they're n-
I
they can't
think
learn.
I think Bella's about to unravel. Like that
Yeah.
you could tell in the preview. She was not for that comment.
Yeah. I hope to see some fireworks. I hope to see 2 or 3 of these marriages explode in the next batch of episodes because
So
I'm
yes, they're going on
exhausted.
a couple retreat, right?
Yeah.
So they're all staying in the same house, which is messy.
Yeah, because half of them hate each other now. Adam is still out for blood. He's like, "You disrespected me by offering your thoughts on my relationship, and I will end you."
Oh my
Like,
god,
I'm
he's definitely gonna untie Sean's bathrobe while he's in this shared house.
yeah. The new pickleball for me is making sure your bathrobe is never in a wearable
Yeah.
condition. And on that note, that's it for this episode of Love to See It with Emma and Claire. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe to our channel.
Love to See It is a presentation of Odyssey. The show is produced by us, Claire Fallon, Lee Blickley, and Emma Gray. Our production assistant is Tatiana Kinney-Smith, who also edits our video. This episode's audio is edited by John Bahar. Our theme music is by Tamar Haviv, and our art is by Aaron Nestor.
If you like the show, please follow us, rate us 5 stars, leave a review, and of course, tell all of your friends about our show.
If you want to get in touch, you can email the show at claireandemmapod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on TikTok at Love to See It Pod and Instagram at Claire and Emma Pod. You can find our newsletter, Rich Text, on Patreon at patreon.com/richtext.
I'm also on social media at LeeBZ.
And I'm on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at Claire E. Fallon. Special thanks to the team at Odyssey, Eric Donnelly, Peter Arriaga, Kate Rose, Moira Curran, Melissa Wester, and Hillary Schiff.
We'll be back soon with more Married at First Sight.
Can you keep